I just was like, all right, I got a broken toe. It's been a rough day. I'm going to bed.
Fair enough. I mean, that sounds pretty bad.
Yeah, keep it elevated, use ice to manage the swell.
Most of that's better at this point. It's gone from like most of the toe being purple to the toe being like red. And it's a lot better. As like I said, I've got it wrapped up with another toe to like hold it, so even like walking on it doesn't hurt at this point as long as I have it wrapped. I have unwrapped it and tried to step, and it's not good. I'm not doing that. But
Yeah,
it does look better. Yeah.
All right, but is everyone ready to get started?
Gilbert.
Yep, loading up my PDF.
Yeah, what the hell?
All right.
Yeah, where's the G-Man?
Gilbert.
Oh, he did say he was going to be late, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Good.
that's right. That's right.
The man that pays the bills is late. Now, this is not.
That's right. For
Getting
compensation.
Mina's sheet pulled up. I'm gonna running.
I want to point out that all of our charisma players are now gone.
Well, Mina's got a positive charisma.
Mina's got a 14.
So huzzah.
Hey, I got a -1.
That's better than over half the party.
We're just going to wait
enough.
for Dean to wake up and we'll be fine.
I don't even know what happened last week. I'm out of the loop.
So I try to like look at Gilbert's spooky knowledge stuff he got, and I got mind fucked basically. And now I'm comatose for like God knows how long.
Book of Vile Darkness. Gilbert was reading the Book of Vile Darkness that he is bonded to, or
as one does.
Yeah, and Mick was trying to peep over his shoulder and fried his own brain, and he bled from the nose and the ears, and he fell over, and he's still unconscious.
Yeah, not dead though. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's not dead. He's just unconscious.
Not being dead is good.
I'm not sure where he's at or who's. I think David is carrying him.
Oh no, I'm in a different world. Not a different world. Yeah, actually I am. I'm in the demi plane of spook.
Oh, that's right. You're with Gilbert in the demi plane.
So I am here. I'm gonna be like able to play probably mostly, but I might have to be up and down for like this first hour a bit. So just a heads up.
Sure.
For if you guys want to get started, you can ignore me, but I do have to get up.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to give a recap then. So you guys find yourself in the city of Tattoon, the capital city of Venetia, carved out of the side of a mountain. It is the center of government and the Venetian military here. The day before, you had visited the chambers of the the Council of High Priests, where you watched some of the sessions going on there, the discussions and debates, which covered a broad range of topics that seemed to be mostly dominated by rising military tensions with their neighbors, the sorceress kingdom of Eglis and Balothland. At the end of the day, they gave an opportunity for anyone to bring any new issues to the council. No one spoke up, so the council was dismissed. You guys then decided to make a long rest in the mansion, popping it the door, I believe, inside of some random alley near the Inns of Court. You have had your long rest, and it is now morning of the next day.
Is this the part where the party plays a tavern simulator until Gilbert goes back online?
You aren't in a tavern. You are on a city street. You see people bustling to and fro. You see an occasional town guard. And you can tell they're the town guard because they've got like a spear and some like chainmail on. Once in a while, you see a couple of guys in like the full shiny plate mail, kind of meander up and down the road. Though they don't seem to be, at least in this part of town, which is near the government center, they don't seem to be so much the primary police force as probably more military in their bearings. There are no real birds in the air either, that you can, as far as you can tell, and it's a little chilly, early in the spring here.
What a strange detail, no birds.
So is Dean awake now?
Let's see, Dean, you've been asleep for how long at this point? Day and
We
a
took
half?
a long rest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's
that
been like
sounds about
30
right.
hours or so. So yeah, he is still unconscious.
Dang.
So what do you guys do?
All right. Well, we've presented that.
I'll follow whoever.
We presented that medallion thing to the people outside. I assume we can still get back in.
Well, that was like more like the board. Like you guys appeared on an outcropping, a flat city square, which was guarded by a bunch of the people in full shiny mirror plate mail, and you presented that as your way into the city proper. You haven't been challenged since you've gotten past that point. It appears that when the council is in session, it is open to the public. Anyone can come in, take a seat, and listen.
All right. Well, I think we missed our opportunity for a hearing yesterday. Maybe we should try to go to one.
So is that what you guys are going to do? Spend all day in the waiting for them to ask for any other business?
Actually,
Well,
damn
we're in a town. I'm just gonna look around, and since I've been given no orders or nobody to kill, I'm just gonna kick back and wait till I receive orders on what I'm.
Well, I can't give him orders.
There's only two people that can order war around, and neither one of them are here.
Well, I guess if he wants to hang out there, he can do that.
Actually, he's probably gonna go to the tavern with Mina. Pretty sure that's probably the place they'll do.
Cool. No, okay.
Oh, right. That'll be great. That'll be great.
All right. Let's see. How can I burn 5 minutes while I wait for the boss to show? So you say we've been led into the city proper here?
Yeah.
So that was where. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
remember
you were
the
basically
guy-
challenged by the border guards.
Yeah, the shiny, and then Gilbert made the state, or somebody made the statement that I don't know if they're all paladins, but they're all in shiny armor. I think Under told us that, and we decided it would be best not to push them, and we went quietly to meet the priests. Gilbert did some, or Mina did some fast talk because Gilbert was gone, and everybody else was like,
You mean Nala?
Yeah, Nala, that's it, Nala. Wrong chick. Yeah, Nala showed up at the right time when we were losing what we were gonna do, and Under was getting frustrated with us. And that's when Nala showed up, and we had a charisma person.
Well, the lieutenant's doing anything because he's got all the diplomacy of a brick through a window.
Same.
Same with war.
Same with the majority of the party, which is why the border guards are kind of
Well,
like,
I mean-
wait, why the fuck are we going to let these guys in here?
Yeah, almost everyone here dumped charisma.
Mercenaries.
I mean, well, yeah, most of the mercenaries are just, we're just. I shoot things a lot.
Oh, right, but I think we were going to wait in the, or at least one of us was going to go and wait and try to get a hearing in that court that we went to.
We'll say Gilbert's waiting for that, and the rest of us will go to the bar.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'll go there and I'll take Gilbert with me while he's still just like an NPC.
Yeah. Outside the main council chambers, there's like a big plaque which has kind of like the day's agenda on it, and you can see that, and also like the day previous and the next day's agendas, and you can see that pretty much at the end of every day, there is a call that is given for anyone to bring new issues to the council. But otherwise, the day is kind of, they actually have like a scheduled time for when things will happen.
Right, I see.
And from what you remember, it's probably not a good idea to start a ruckus in the council chamber. Mostly because there was about 30 paladins or so between you and the council. Like between the populace and the council's, like a line of heavily armed and armored paladins. Very
Well, that's
obviously.
somewhat alarming. Wow. No wonder why we didn't see any like small time petty stuff being raised, like complaints.
Mm-hmm.
A holy army. I mean, come on.
Yeah, this place seems awfully like conspicuously well defended. Well, I guess until the end of the day, we're just kind of waiting around for our number. Is there anything else fun to do in this town? I wonder out loud. Well, we're in this upper district. What other kind of stuff is up here?
Well, there's the Inns of Court, which is where most of the party is at the bar. It's like literally the inn next to the court. And that's, you can see military and bureaucrats kind of go there and drink. Your party kind of sticks out a little bit, but no one really seems to be disturbed by it so much as you're just like the new shit in town.
Mm-hmm.
But it is fairly quiet. You don't see brawls breaking out. There's no like obvious criminals walking around.
Yeah, not up here in the nice neighborhood.
Yeah. If you were going to go looking for trouble, you would imagine you'd probably have to go to like one of the poorer districts of town to really find a chance of that. You suspect that the fact that there's a whole company of paladins walking around this section probably means that a lot of shit doesn't get started here.
I'm sorry, we're starting shit with paladins? What?
No, we're talking about how shit is not going to get started.
Right, because you can imagine like the government sector being like a semicircle. And at the apex of the arc is, the priest's high council chamber. To the west of that is the Inns of Court, where you guys are sitting and drinking. To the east of that is the barracks of, what is literally like a couple dozen paladins that, make their home base here.
So basically, we don't want to start no trouble right in this area.
I mean, according to the tales that they would have told in Blothland, how potent are these paladins?
Well, a company of paladins, which is anywhere from about a dozen to 3 dozen paladins in size, is generally considered equivalent to, what we would call a battalion, about 500 men. men-at-arms.
Ooh, damn, Daniel.
Wow.
Let's suppose there's like a big public house of worship up here that people come
battalion
and
of what?
flock to for
There
I
are
think
whatever
this,
they.
yeah,
Oh,
this
okay.
is built on worship.
Yeah.
Most of the good aligned deities aren't it good aligned? Or is
There
it
are.
evil aligned?
It is all of them. There are, in fact, 37 high priests that make up the Council of High Priests. And they tend to, when they sit in an order from left to right of like Bashala, Sirik, Malar, the more evil deities on the left, good aligned deities, Tyr, Lathander, Mistra on the right. In the
So we're
center
just-
tends to be made up of a block of neutral deities, such as Agma.
So we're going by the chance that left-handers are the devil.
Bad guy. Well, they're more subterfuge and the darker sides of the city. You'd be the ones that you look for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot this is like a multi-denominational church.
Yeah, this is a holy city. This is a holy city run by every religion.
This is a theocracy. The Council of High Priests is the government. And there's 37 of them.
So does
So-
each section of town? Does each priest have a section of town where their temple resides, where their
No, I think you're
worshipers
saying
stay?
all of them are up here. Like this is where all the really
Yeah,
sanctuaries
just
are.
so if you were looking at the street running north-south, the semicircle that makes up the High Council Chamber is the northernmost terminus of that road. The southern terminus is the landing zone where you guys teleported in. Just south of the government section is the Temple District, which is literally 37 cathedrals, one for each of the deities represented on the High Council. In theory, each of the high priests is the trying to think of the term. They are the local, they run that church. That is their church. Their position.
Okay, so is each church? They're all separate church, all separate shrine, basically to the gods,
Yes.
or are they all along like a street, like Sorority Row? You just drive down the street and there's
Yes, it's kind of like Sorority Row.
Got it. Okay.
All the cathedrals are kind of grouped together. And in Venetia, there isn't a lot of religious strife. There are these 37 major gods that represent the vast majority of the populace's beliefs. And they're fairly polytheistic. And what I mean by that is not that someone doesn't generally one person doesn't just worship one god. They will worship many gods. Maybe not all of them, but they certainly 5 or 6 is not uncommon. It's like patron gods of that person and their family. And they will patronize all 5 or 6 of those churches from time to time, depending on whose feast day it is, for what celebration, what they're praying for at the moment, etc.
You gotta get them good crops, my
And-
man.
Yeah, and if you were thinking about it in terms of paladin oaths, the paladins that are stationed here are oaths of the crown. They answer to the council, not to any one particular church.
Ah, okay.
And they keep the peace.
Got it. Oh, so the crap.
So, on a scale of like 1 to 10, if I step outside of this demiplane, how big of a crusade is going to get launched against me?
It's very interesting. In Venetia, while there are the 37 main gods that make up the council, other gods people are perfectly willing to worship, and they do many other minor deities. Bahamut and Tiamat both probably have smaller shrines somewhere in the city. Religions tend to be treated well and are even welcomed here. What's punished heavily, however, is apostasy and heresy. So you just simply having a tome of vile darkness. The more good-leaning churches and high priests will probably look down on you, Gilbert, but on the other hand, there's a literal cathedral to Baal here.
Ooh.
a literal god of murder. So, you know, they'll be much more welcoming towards you there. It's
Trace that here.
yeah, it's very interesting because this is technically a theocracy, but the theocracy covers the whole spectrum from good to evil, from law to chaos. The government tends to have a much more secular bent in terms of its enforcement. No one religion trumps the others.
So as long as you worship, you're okay. As long as you worship something, you're fine. But if you say there is no gods, then you're a heretic, and that's punishable by death.
Actually,
Right?
they'd think you were insane and they'd lock you up in an asylum.
Okay.
If you
But
say there's no gods, like there are, like literally, the gods are granting people magic and like shit is going on.
Yeah, there's demonstrable proof.
So you're at that point, you're considered to be denying reality. You're less a heretic and more actually crazy. If you were to try and convince people that Baal was the god of pink unicorns and rainbows, the Church
Okay.
of Baal would then seek to have you arrested for heresy.
Okay, so
what
if
about murderous pink unicorn?
what if a murderous follower of Baal killed a follower of another religion? Like one of the good ones.
Just because your god tells you to kill someone doesn't mean that that's actually okay.
I see.
Interesting.
There is a somewhat practical bent to a lot of the laws, and so you literally if you try to claim my god told me to do it, chances are it's not going to work out well for you.
Yeah, because their paladin can usually just ask.
Well,
right.
these are literally the high priests. They can just cast commune and ask.
Ooh.
Like if I didn't tell him. Yeah, let me have him. Oh no, pass. No.
Interesting.
Interesting. And their
And heresy is a
viewpoint-
capital crime here.
and their thoughts towards the undead.
They don't. There are no specific laws banning undead within the city. However, there are laws about causing public nuisances and public health hazards.
So keep a masquerade mask, keep them covered.
Interesting.
Keep
Well,
'em
it's
quiet.
interesting. Skeletons are usually better received than zombies because they are less
Yeah.
likely to cause people to get sick.
I cannot hear you right now. I can hear nobody right now.
Testing.
I mean, I hear you guys. Is Gilbert just the only one having a problem, or can no one hear me?
I can hear him.
I can hear you and
I
him.
will.
Everybody.
I cannot hear anybody. I'm going to attempt to disconnect and reconnect.
Well, that's an oof.
Yeah, so anyway, yeah, skeletons are generally considered better in terms of walking around the city than zombies would be, simply because zombies tend to represent much more of a public health issue. Rotting flesh is a pretty big no-no.
And how long have we been here?
One day, you guys took a long
Um,
rest because you basically they watched the High Council ask if anybody had any other issues for the council. No one spoke up, so the council adjourned for the evening.
Ah, yes, the ultimate buying some time. How long would that mean I have been scribing down that information I've been scribing?
I believe you've had enough time to finish it at this point.
I've had enough time to finish both the top two on the priority list.
What? I don't remember what your priority list is.
Oh, I PM'd that to you. Just a second. Discord's being slow on my computer. Um. Do do. May 2nd, 11:27 p.m. Death Knight and Soul Orb Ritual.
All the
Coming
Death
Death
Knight stuff
Knight.
for sure. The Soul Orb Ritual. No, you would have just been getting started on that at this point. So I believe it's 2 hours per level, right? For scribing something into a spellbook.
I don't actually know. This is the first time I've ever scribed anything.
Yeah,
If it's
sure.
anything like the wizard, it'd be 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm
per
just
spell level.
basically going on in terms of because you kind of can't cast this, so you're just kind of copying down what you see in the book. So yeah, 2 hours per level. So there's 18 hours of work to copy that ritual.
Okay.
And so you finish Death Knight, but you have none of the ritual done yet.
And for the Death Knight ritual, I just need to die and be like, hey, dark powers, lend me your ear.
Yeah, basically.
What?
There's some other shit involved, but yeah, you can kind of die, and as you're dying, try and like focus on, making a deal with the dark powers that be, and it's not really all that unusual for you. You kind of know a guy.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's right. I do know a guy.
So currently, you guys are basically in the bar at the Inns of Court here.
Her.
So is there anything you guys would like to do, or do you just want me to skip towards the council?
Well, if we're just killing clock here, we could do some shopping.
I'm a
What do you think?
scribing.
You're scribing. Do we have access to the party funds? Does anyone have that written?
I have my funds written down. That's the only funds I got.
Okay, do we remember who is keeping track of that?
I think Nala.
Nala.
I
The
can tell you that I have money if you guys need money.
Okay. I was going to go and buy some components and stuff. Do people want anything in particular?
Spook.
Yes. What?
Do you want anything in particular as a high-leveled wizard?
I'm always wanting rubies.
This is like the capital of Venetia. There are many jewelry stores. You can very easily get pretty much almost any amount of rubies you want and have money for.
Excellent.
How much would you like to buy?
I'm gonna have to check my sheets. How much we got?
Yeah, it's interesting because Tatooine's kind of carved out of a mountainside. There's actually no real arable land nearby, and it depends on daily shipments of food from the surrounding towns and villages to feed the populace.
That explains the absence of birds.
Are there any, like, arcanists here in town?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, do they sell like magic weapons or whatever?
Yeah, could they make some, or if I show them something, could they reproduce?
So, magic item enchanting isn't really done as kind of a rule. There's no one here that's going to.
I'm not magic enchanting. I'm not making anything magic.
What are you trying to do then? What are you trying to find?
I'm going to show them that the explosive tip arrows I've got that the
Oh.
Arcanus gave us, and see if they can duplicate it and make us more.
Are you willing to show them how to make gunpowder?
Sir,
I
you're
know
gonna
how to
fuck
make
up so
gunpowder.
many things.
I don't know how to make gunpowder. All I know is I've got the arrow. I don't know how to make none of it. If I did, I wouldn't be going to them. I'd make it my damn self.
Mister, you
But
gotta
mine
know that this is a very foolish
unconscious.
choice, right? You're gonna show the Mad Crusaders how to make gunpowder.
And besides, the original plan, guys, is if anybody is getting gunpowder, it was the fatherland Balothlin, which is also the
Well, Gilbert, how much money do we have to spend?
Dean has a lot of money to spare.
Oh,
Dean's
well,
unconscious.
if y'all think this is a bad idea, then I won't do it.
according to what I possess here, 18 silver pieces
That's it.
and 404 platinum pieces.
Oh,
Okay, that's more like it. It's 10 to
I've got the
1 for
spare
those, right?
change, and this.
But it's 10 to 1 for those.
Each
For platinum.
platinum's worth
GP to
10
GP?
gold.
Thank you. Well, with your permission, I would like to spend 1,000 of those, or I guess one of those platinum pieces. No, that's not right. 10 of those platinum pieces on a bunch of special mummification.
Mummification oils?
Yeah,
Okay. Here's 10 PP.
thank you for the PP.
sorry, I'm a child. That's hilarious.
Welcome to the pea forest.
Oh,
So, but in general, War, to answer your question, there are factories here you can hire to make stuff for you, but they kind of need a blueprint to work from. So you'd have to show them how to make these arrows, or have someone in the party show them how to make the arrows.
Okay, never mind then, no. Because I don't know how to make them. I just know I got them.
How long do we have till the council meeting?
The council meeting generally adjourns at around 6 p.m., but that's only if no one brings any new items up. They generally ask that at the end of the day, so around 6 o'clock in the evening. They'll ask anyone present, if they have any new business to bring to the council.
All right. So, I suppose this raises another question. What is our plan?
Well,
I
I'm
think the
able
loose
to.
idea was to request like aid to oof the necromancer lich god king feller.
Pejima.
God Emperor Pejima.
That guy.
We have to put him on. We have to kill him because he's coming.
And if we can like put bodies that aren't us in the front lines to help, that'd be great.
The God,
Yeah,
the
The
God Emperor
moment Gilbert steps
Pajama.
out of that world, Pejima is coming. We all know this.
yeah. More importantly, he's an apostate.
What faith did he have that he forsook?
Right now, he only has faith in himself, and he calls himself a god. And that ain't right.
I'm sorry, are you saying Pejuma's an apostate or Gilbert's an apostate?
Yeah,
I'm saying
looking-
Pejima is an apostate. No, I'm saying Pejima is. Well, I mean, I don't think he's
Let
a
me
god,
find
but he's
out
trying to.
Gilbert did what Periel was doing. Come on.
But I'm able to buy my rare oils and unguents.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, this is a major metropolis.
All right. Is there anything else? Actually, let me see. There might be one other thing that I wanted to try and get. Yeah, Gilbert, I'm gonna need like total out of all the things I'm buying. I need like 20 platinum.
Okay. Here's 20 platinum pieces.
Yeah, I already spent 10 of those. I'm going to spend the other 10 on a big fancy
On a big fancy.
agate.
Back, did everybody die?
Can I buy
No.
some poison?
Yeah, but for everyone, that's for literally getting at anything mundane or just like standard spell components, you can find all of that in the city. There really isn't any material shortages here.
Yeah, I've bought us some fun stuff. Some special surprise tools that are going to help us later.
Neat.
I want some poison.
Mina would like to request some money to drink a lot. Since Nala is not here, Gilbert, are you here?
Yeah, just a second. I'm scribing.
Okay.
Typing something.
And War, you said you wanted to find
Um,
poison to buy?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what, like 5 platinum? Here's 5 platinum.
Mina takes 5 platinum and spends it as quickly as physically possible on the least valuable things she can.
Booze?
Under.
My connections.
Okay. Hold on. Let me take her War real quick here. So, War poison, while it is looked down upon, is actually freely traded here. What is it you are looking to buy?
Since I am an assassin as well, I would like to get some poison to dip my bolts in.
Okay.
Possibly something. That would cause paralysis, maybe.
Are you looking for drought poison or something? What kind of poison specifically?
I don't know. Not specific. I don't know anything about poisons. I'm just saying I would want
You got
as an assassin.
proficiency in the
Okay.
poisonous
Yeah, I
kit, I
do.
believe.
Yeah, I do, and that's what I'm saying. But as a person, I don't know anything about poisons. I don't use
Got
them
it.
much.
Sure.
But
Okay.
I figured as an assassin, he would bulk up on some poisons to dip his arrows in, different kinds, different flavors, maybe.
I might be able to help him with that.
Oh, I mean, you can. It's like I said.
Oh my
it's
God.
stigmatized. It's a little looked down upon, but poison is not
Assassin.
illegal in Venetia. So you can literally go to a store and buy wyvern poison if you wanted to. It's expensive, but you could do it.
Is it?
Wyvern poison costs 1,200 gold per dose.
Oof, that's a lot.
It is, but wyvern poison, which is injury-based poison, so when you coat like a weapon with it and hit someone with it, they need to make a 15 DC Constitution saving throw or take 7d6 poison damage. There is, other, especially cheaper ones. Let's see, another injury-based one is Drought Poison, which is a 13 con save or the poison condition for 1 hour. And if the fails by 5 or more, they are knocked unconscious for the duration.
That sounds good.
All right. Drought Poison costs 200 gold per dose.
How much money? How much is a platinum piece?
1 platinum is 10 gold.
How much party money do we have? I won't buy poison.
I'm sorry I was muted there. Here's 10 platinum.
Yay! That'll get me. How many will that give me?
That's 100 gold.
That'll get me a dose, did you say?
200 gold per dose. Drought Poison.
You didn't give me enough, Gilbert. Well, how much poison can I get for 100 gold? What kind of poison can I get? What does it do?
Didn't he give you 10 platinum?
100 gold pieces.
Yeah, that is the cheapest poison.
I'm sorry, I butchered my math there. Take 30 more platinum.
Nani.
So you have 400 gold to spend.
Give me 2 doses of Drought Poison.
All right. You basically hand over the gold. They give you 2 small vials of Drought Poison.
In my pack.
Can we stick around after I get back from my feet or shit? Cause man, I got things to buy.
How long does it take for Mina to drink 5 platinum worth of booze, assuming she has, no self-control, purchases expensive stuff, and literally splashes it around?
All right. So, you can buy a whiskey that is called what is it? Ambrosia. It's not actual ambrosia, but it's really fucking expensive whiskey. It costs a platinum per bottle.
Okay. Well, yeah, Mina's gonna do that, and she's gonna purchase all of them, and she's gonna sling them on her belt, and she's gonna walk down the street, chugging this stuff.
Damn, Daniel.
No, that's how much I've spent, which is a lot. But
And if she passes anybody in the street, she will definitely let them have a swig.
Well, the only place it kind of sells that at quantities that you would be able to buy it like that would be the Inns of Court, the nice bar in town. So if you're buying it and like sharing it around, you're hobnobbing with like generals and high level clergymen, people like that, high bureaucrats. And trust me, they are all your friends when you literally start like sloshing around and like just giving out, the ambrosia whiskey all over the place.
Nice.
Nice, you
Yeah,
go, girl.
making a commotion. We're going. That's where I'm going after I'm done with my poison hunting.
Like they're all very nice and proper about it, but free drinks are free drinks, man.
Wait. Pete, why is that minus 200 platinum?
I needed 2,000 gold.
That's
That's a lot.
Well, it's for skull components.
Wait,
It's
do we have that much? I don't know how much we have.
He said he had 400, didn't he?
I can cover that. I'm just
You did not expect that.
oof.
Okay, to be fair, one of these is insurance on your life.
Oh, is
Gilbert
that
got-
for reincarnation?
Like life
It
insurance.
might be.
Yeah, Gilbert is not worried about dying because he's coming back as a death knight. So it really doesn't matter to him.
It's
Are you
insurance for his goons.
Mister. I have never turned down a life insurance policy in this campaign ever.
Yeah, one of these is an insurance policy on your life, and the other one is a pre-order for a life that doesn't exist.
Cool.
Interesting. Under.
hmm
What is that location?
Yeah.
Like, is that an old world location, or is that a...
That no, that's not an that's not on. That's a Daedon location, not Seance.
Okay.
You've been there.
We have?
Yes, yes, you have. Remember, he asked you to retrieve some specific item from there.
Oh, right. Right. The place where we got our shit kicked in, right. I think I've replaced the name for that in my memory with the no-go zone.
What are we talking about? Is that the church where we all got our asses kicked, especially me?
Indeed. I know Pechima's intended destination.
That would the big thing come out of the ground and beat us to probably just beat the piss out of us and then left?
Well, to begin with, I'm starting to think that there might be a little bit more to that mace we were meant to achieve than he originally told us.
Sweet.
So we taking it back?
It's destroyed, ain't it?
Yeah.
We never got it.
Yeah, that mace got broked.
It got oofed.
As I understand, that mace fell into a massive chasm.
Yeah, but it was mundane. It got destroyed.
How do you know it's mundane?
I think we knew it was mundane when we
Yeah,
were there.
We failed to ping any magic with detect magic.
Would not
But for all we
Magic
know,
aura
yeah, I was
cause that
about
to
to say.
register as mundane?
Yes. Didn't. I don't remember
Point is,
exactly
it's
what
headed
method
back
I
there.
used to find all of our
Do
stuff.
what? Our stuff was taken by the dragon.
I know, but remember I swam down there to get all of our stuff. I don't remember exactly what method I was using to find it. It might have been locate object, or it might have been detect magic. But
Does
whatever we
anybody
did,
here
it
possess sending?
no.
No one here has sending?
I bet Lieutenant does.
Lieutenant does.
I think that's Nala.
And Nala, maybe.
Okay. How about
Mina can
Scrying?
yell pretty loud. Does that count?
How about Scrying?
Scrying on what?
How about the Elcott ambassador that we met when Pejima first reemerged? The one that later went to Portamore.
The Elcott ambassador.
Yeah,
the
we met
fancy
him in the
undead.
wood.
Remember he came in with a huge ass army and we were camping in the woods? Well, what
Oh,
was
right.
left of the woods?
Yeah, I've met that guy. I mean, do we want to know where he is? Is that what we're doing?
I'm more attempting to gather what information I can.
Yeah, I mean, if he's telling me to do it, I'll give it a shot. This would probably be a scene once, I think.
Okay, you are scrying on who?
The ambassador of the undead that told us of Pejima's reemergence. This was a few months ago.
Yes.
Yeah, the pompous guy. He had like a big burly undead with him and a big flying head bat.
Barely
Real
remember.
showy motherfucker. We texted Lord Commander Odwick afterward. He's like, "You did what on behalf of our city?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's got a big fuck off army." He's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, good idea."
He did have a big fuck up army. That's
Yes,
true.
he did. Well, he does.
Does, yeah.
Soon it will be dead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you are trying to do that. You've met him once. You don't really have any connections to him. Do you remember his name?
That would probably help. Did
It
we
was
even
Billy.
get his name?
His name's Billy.
Is his name actually Billy, or you should?
No, it isn't.
I wouldn't put it past him.
And then his name was Billy.
I know his name.
So we've okay. At this
In
point,
fact, I
we've
have a picture of
eliminated
him.
Billy. Okay.
Yeah, I remember the picture.
So we've eliminated Billy. What's the next name we want to test? We'll just, we'll start in the A's. Like, I don't know. What's Aaron? That's a good A
Lothric.
name.
Ambassador Lothric.
You know, he does look like a Lothric.
Okay, so you don't know his name. That's fine. You
No,
can
we
still
don't.
try to scry him because you have met him. You can picture him in your mind. It's just, less effective when you can't, get information, when you don't have information about him besides his position.
It's a distant recollection because even in real life, I barely remember.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember him.
Okay.
I lost my notebook, so I don't have anything
Which
left.
character was I when we fought him? I don't remember.
You might have still been Shunsui at that point. No, wait, that's way too early.
All right, so you're trying to scry on him, yeah?
Yes.
All right, that's a wisdom save, right, on his part?
I think so, yep.
He wants to
I was like,
resist. He may
Plus
just
14 with advantage.
come and get me.
Plus 10 from circumstance.
He may
Like
not
a
think
plus
he may
24.
think he's stronger than us and not want to
Oh,
resist.
he's not going to pass with that one, even with a plus 11. But goddamn, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so what's the DC?
The DC is, it's not 12. It's 18.
18, okay. So you get a picture of him, and he appears to be in a jungle, traveling.
I know where he is.
This is not a jungle you are from. Well, actually,
Place the
Basil
cannibals?
would be. This you recognize as the Gallenvine jungle. It's west of the Ventrum steppe where you kind of were before you joined the party.
Oh yeah, I remember. This is like the spooky no-go zone that had a dragon. The death jungle.
Yes, it is the death jungle, or rather, it's a jungle ruled by aristocratic undead. Vampires.
Oh,
to
the
be specific.
vampire dude!
Oh, that's right. This guy must be right at home there. He kind of looks like an aristocrat.
Oh, he is. He is a consummate aristocrat.
Yeah.
But, so yes, he appears to be traveling through the Gallenvine jungle at the moment.
Do I see a host around him, or is it just him?
You see basically the same people you saw before. You see Vox, who is kind of like his herald, marching out in front of him. And you see now the winged skulls with glowing eyes kind of fluttering to and fro. And what appears to be an honor guard of 8 soldiers, kind of dressed up in Pejema's livery. Everyone with him appears to be undead.
Yeah.
Interesting that he's headed out all that way out there.
I'm guessing this is pretty zoomed in this jungle. I can't really get a beat on the surroundings or like what time of day it is or anything.
Time of day, you can tell that it is. You can tell it's either early morning or late in the afternoon. You can't tell if the sun is setting or rising, but you can tell that it is not noon.
All right. So I have no idea which direction he's going.
It does not come with a compass.
Yeah, well, I was going to try and do like a sun compass kind of thing, but I'm not getting enough detail for that.
Well, it's more the sun rises in the east, sets in the west, but you don't know which way is east or west, so you don't know if it's rising or setting. Though
Honestly,
from this,
might not even know the Earth is round. He might not even know that time zones exist.
I mean, the concept of time zones is a very modern invention.
Yeah.
Like literally, it came around when trains were invented.
Yeah.
But you know that, but the sun rising in the east, setting in the west is well known. It has been well known since ancient times. So you know he's either traveling east or west.
Right. All right. Well, he's either traveling east or west, and I'm gonna
He's
guess
traveling
it's probably
west.
west. Why would he be going west?
I'm thinking he's traveling west. Given that he seems to be walking everywhere,
Marching west.
and probably the places he would have been sent, I imagine he's probably going there rather than leaving from.
Wouldn't that be east? Or am I getting confused here?
I mean, I'm looking at the map, and if he's going from Elcott into there, he'd be going west.
Okay.
Yeah, something tells me that if there's an army marching, they're probably marching west.
Yeah, I know AGR. Well, anyway, that answers that question.
Do we tree jump to him and whoop his ass? Is that what we're doing?
You know, that is an option, but I don't really feel like it. We're kind of doing something important.
I mean,
Mina is doing something very important right now.
Mina and the rest of the.
Mina's establishing context by being very friendly to important people.
Mina does not so much as ask a single person's name while she's out there.
All the mercenaries are all getting drunk. Pretty much the entire party is getting drunk with the exception of Gilbert, who is supposed to be waiting on the priest.
What? I am?
But you're the only charisma-based character we got.
That doesn't mean I'm
Mina
waiting on the
too.
priest.
Mina is. Yeah, she's getting drunk. She could probably, with her high charisma, she could probably persuade some people in the bar.
Moderately high.
Compared to Wars, it's super.
As in, it's
Wars
a
got
number
the
greater than
personality of a
0.
rock. Wars got the personality of a rock.
Not the rock, a rock.
Yeah, not a rock, a rock.
A rock.
All right, so Mina is schmoozing with the people in the bar, drunkenly.
Yeah, I'm
You're
blowing all of
pretty
Gilbert.
sure that rank insignia, Mina, means that you just saw a like major in the army collapse into a drunken stupor.
Nice.
That's it. Yeah, Mina would like to carefully walk the line and cause just enough trouble that she is gently escorted out when the money runs out.
Well, here's the thing. Your money runs out, but you've been like liquoring up this whole bar. Because, you said you were being pretty free with everything. A guy who introduces himself as Colonel Hasimar offers to start buying you drinks to return the favor, while also, getting it for his round type thing. So are you going to stay or are you going to cause trouble?
No, Mina will take free drinks.
Hey.
Why would she cause trouble?
Well, because, I don't know, she's drunk.
But why would it cause trouble?
She's a habit drunk.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what passes for trouble there is probably pretty tame, because of the type of establishment. So I think she would naturally cause a little trouble. But given the amount of money,
Let me put it this way: all of the bureaucrats and the clergymen kind of have like you notice there's a distinct many fewer of them in the bar now because there's all these high-ranking military folks who are just getting drunk off their asses here.
Turns out drunk paladins are a lot like drunk marines.
Well, let me put it this way. The lowest rank you've seen in the bar was captain.
Fair. If the free drinks stop coming, then Mina's going to gently escort herself out, go find Gilbert, and try to like figure out some way to speak enough words to request more money.
Right.
And then she's going to go back to drink.
Of course. All right, but it is getting later in the evening. And so who is in the High Council chamber?
Probably not the lieutenant.
I don't suppose Dean's woken up yet.
Nope.
Nah, I'm still oof. And that's because that was the best case scenario. What happened to me? You don't even know.
Yeah. Well, I'm done with my shopping. I'll probably go with Gilbert to the council.
Where is everybody getting "I'm going to the council chamber" from?
Well, it has to be you, because I'm not good there.
You're the only person who's good at persuading people.
Right? Do we have an
Nobody
appointment
paid
date?
Mina to do that, and if you'd like to do that now, she's definitely liquored up enough for it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the evil
Yes,
lich.
I'll sign
War,
that.
War is enjoying himself. That's all he's doing.
Yes, I'll sign that, totally.
Gavin's probably with us too,
Yeah.
checking out the paladins in their armor. You know,
Hmm.
he loves a man in uniform.
I can move around and dirty.
So no one's going to the chamber or the Council of High Priests. Is that what I'm
I
hearing?
guess if Gilbert is not going, then I will have to go in his stead.
Oh.
What I'm saying is that we don't need to go yet.
We don't need to go yet?
Not
Oh, he
yet.
wants to get more information, I guess.
Oh, okay. Are we just
Um,
waiting?
Well, yeah, preferably one of the things we're going to have to do is it would be helpful to currently know what the geopolitical climate on the continent is. We want to be able to alleviate the necessary fears that Venetia will have about sending forces way overseas and potentially leaving themselves open to an attack. And we're going to want to have as much not necessarily hard information, but information we can use just the right kind of bullshit extrapolation on to come up with the, appropriate bullshit we might need.
Okay, so what do
Basically,
you...
I'm saying we need to take some time to build a proper case in order to get this done correctly, rather than just going in there and going, some crazy lich is going to become a god, and they're just going to go, okay.
yeah, I see what you're
No,
saying.
we can try that. Why not?
A full third of the council may be like, that sounds great. Who should we be inviting?
Yeah, that's...
Me!
Wait, would the council really be cool with that? Just like some
Well,
undead
a third
guy
of them
trying...
might be.
That's interesting. But so trying to become a god as a mortal being, that's not something they're, like, offended.
Imperial was actually, he actually believed himself to be a god. He came from there, right?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, they have no problem with it. You probably won't be one of the major gods if you manage some type of apotheosis, but they have no
But hey,
problem
you've
with
achieved
it.
apotheosis.
Yeah, you have achieved apotheosis. There is precedent for doing so.
It's got to be the most religiously tolerant theocracy I've ever seen.
They're a
know,
theocracy
right?
in that they are run by the various religious cults here.
Yeah.
They are not a...
The only thing they're
not an
intolerant of is irreligion.
It's not even that they're intolerant of irreligion so much as they regard irreligion as a sign of mental illness.
I mean, in D&D you would.
It's like saying you don't believe in gravity here. Gravity is just a theory after all. I, for one, tend to believe more in intelligent falling.
Intelligent fallen.
But I digress. So no one's going to the council chamber. Okay.
Apparently not. Apparently we're doing more casework to prepare
Okay,
for...
well then what are you guys doing?
We are drinking and whoring and doing things, probably.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make myself available to Gilbert if he wants to do more reconnaissance.
It's 2.5 days, right, Under? From my end?
Yes, you have. It's basically been 36 hours at this point for you.
Wait, 2.5 days is 36 hours?
No, sorry, I was. It's not been. It was 30 hours at the beginning of the day. So that would be 40 hours we're coming up on right now.
Yeah, I might actually be conscious by the end of the session. Neat.
Well, I mean, it's all well and good that Gilbert is saying he wants to do reconnaissance. What exactly do you intend to do to accomplish this?
Yes. Just a second. I'm having to pour through stuff. Like, guys, if you have any ideas for things that could be useful, go ahead and do them.
Do we remember any, famous prophecies or legends about this?
About what?
Oh, about Pejma.
Not really. You only kind of found out about him on Daydun. And if you recall, his capital was kind of destroyed. So the only real source of information you ever had was, I forget his name, the Death Knight that you guys talked to.
Yeah. We found a shitload of textbooks on him, but they were kind of... They told you about as much about him as a North Korean textbook tells you about, their current leader.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Amaros, who's the name of that Death Knight, is more or less fanatically loyal to him.
That's a good point. Basil, could you scry on our good friend, the Lord Protector Armaros?
Sure. How do we know him again?
He's the Death Knight that was in charge of Elcott while Pejma was away. We met him for a time before we met you, and he was a rather swell chap.
Okay, that's going to be a problem if I've never met him.
Were you with the party when we went to Elcott after meeting the ambassador?
No, that was like a million years ago.
I have no idea when that was.
This was after the Demon Arc.
Oh, it was? Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. Then
Yeah,
I
you
just
met
forgot.
the ambassador, Armaros, and Pejma.
Oh yeah.
Pejma was like an old dude with I think like a platinum diadem and like blood red robes. Some real Palpatine type shit.
Did we meet him out front of a town or something right before we fought a dragon?
No. No. We met Mr. Amaros is the guy who beat the shit out of Imperial.
Oh, the guy that kept hitting him even after he fell down because Periel wouldn't shut up?
Yeah.
Okay, got it,
Imperial talked some
yeah.
sass to him. We all backed up and let him kick your shit in.
Yeah, y'all were just... Yeah, that was just fucked up all the way around, but... You're just like, well, we gotta let him learn somehow. But fuck y'all. I remember him now.
Yeah, then I'll do that.
Okay.
Okay, so you start doing the scrying ritual.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do this right on the edge of the demi-plane so that he can see, like, from outside.
Okay. All right. Yeah, your scrying goes off, and he is sitting what appears to be on a sofa of some kind, reading a book.
What's he reading?
Doesn't appear to have a title on the front.
Interesting.
Does it appear to be old and leathery?
Can you
Yes.
shift the camera focus?
Enhance! No, we
What
can't do
does the book look like?
It looks like a cookbook.
How to
Is it
serve
bound?
man.
Is it bound?
Funny
in
enough, that
US
is the title. How did you know?
Wait, does the cover look dusty?
No.
No.
It just looks old. It looks like it's an old cookbook titled How to Serve Man.
Why does he eat? He's a skeleton.
For fun.
Oh, it's for his comrades. Got to boost that morale somehow, you know.
They're under. Whatever.
There's some that are sentient, I assume.
Okay, now Gilbert, for your thing. That is dark lore, so that is an intelligence check with expertise. So twice your proficiency.
Come on, dice. Don't fuck with me. Fuck you, dice.
That's a big oof.
So you do find like a general article on Evilpedia that describes the process of apotheosis, and it's a very simple process. You simply have to get a critical mass of people believing you are a god, and you are in fact a god.
Ah, worked by Warhammer rules. Okay.
This will also make sense because you know that gods derive some of their power, a big chunk of it, in fact, from their believers. In that praying to a god, while the god can then intervene with his power to help you, also empowers that god. And some of the gods that in times long since past that have faded into non-existence have done so pretty much because their believers faded into non-existence. With no one left to worship them, the god faded away.
Hmm. Excellent. All right. So what about the rest of you? Any ideas?
Do we remember what it was that was on that plaque that we found by that mansion where we all got killed? I know it wasn't about Pejma, it was something about, like, I think it had Oryx or something.
The
With the big thing.
the one that was yeah, the one next to the robot space lawyer of Doom.
Yeah,
the
it
one
was some kind of, like,
Yarn
promise that they made to
decided
not
to turn
worship
us over.
Oryx.
Yeah, they made a deal to never ever worship Orcus
Orcus, right.
and then the robot space lawyer killed all of them. Probably because they started worshiping Orcus.
Killed almost all of us.
Well, I'm gonna go back to that scribing.
Okay. So you guys just hang out for the night?
Yeah, I guess if the day's activities are finished.
All
I
right.
encourage literally anybody that has an idea to, suggest it.
I'm trying to think of ideas. We don't have a lot of yeah, we don't have a lot of concrete written info.
Mm-hmm. So another night passes. You all have another long rest. Mina stumbles in sometime in the morning.
Am I able to finish that second ritual scribing?
Well, there's what? We said 18 hours of work. You probably were able to spend 8 hours yesterday working on it, so you still have 10 hours left.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. That's right. I was just starting it. Right.
Okay, so, as for Dean, I believe Dean's been unconscious for about 56 hours at this point.
Have we fed him or watered him?
Robot's
He's
been feeding him, watering him.
Yeah, he's been unconscious. I imagine we're probably taking care of, or the servants are taking care of.
Are
him.
you
There we
kidding
go.
with our group? There's
No,
no guarantee
he's in
of
the
that.
he's in the mansion. The servants are taking care.
Or the servants are bringing food to the robot who's maintaining a minimal nutritional intake.
There we go.
Very good.
How are you
Christ.
doing that? I am curious.
Well, watering him's rather straightforward. Enemas work for that. Feeding him's a little harder.
It's a good thing the robot's got all day.
No, I bet those servants could brew up some kind of nutrient paste that they could dribble into his mouth that he would be able to.
I'm sure the way the digestive tract works, you can just take like a sandwich and just shove it right up his ass.
I mean, if this is a concern, I'll just shove a good berry down his throat and chew it for him with it.
You're gonna baby bird it to him.
Exactly.
He'll
Weird
survive
fucking
56
Guys,
hours
can I
with no
just-
food and water. I mean, it's not like he's going to shrivel up and die.
I just walked in the kitchen and my sister and her husband were trying to open a bottle of wine with a pair of hemostats because we don't have a bottle opener.
What?
They had a power drill in there.
What the fuck, dude? Don't they know how to get him open a bottle of wine?
Smash it.
No.
They're both like my sister's a bartender. She got like 20 years of experience.
No, so what you do is you put it in your mouth and you just suck really hard.
I mean, if you want the super getaway to do it, you just push the cork in.
They
Yeah.
can't do that now because they've broken the cork.
Ooh. But they haven't broken the cork enough that they can pull it out.
No, they have not. They
I would
drilled a hole
Shove the cork
fucking
down
power
in
drill.
there and pour the boy.
I mean, at least they didn't drill the hole with the power drill all the way through it, so there's not like bits of cork in the wine yet, but soon.
Get a metal file and sabrage it.
Or they could water hammer the cork out.
It's true.
Basically, turn the bottle of wine upside down and just begin tapping it rather hard on the bottom. And eventually, you'll pop the cork out via the water hammer effect.
Why not just get a screw?
Well, that's what they did. They have a drill.
Yeah, they took a power drill to it. It did not work very well for them.
Right. Why not just get a screw and like a screwdriver? Something that's, probably going to end with less of a disaster?
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
A buddy of mine once opened a bottle of wine with a battle axe.
I mean, yeah, if you don't mind breaking the bottle, you just break the stem off and you're fine.
I bet you
That's
can do it
exactly-
with a screw.
Tried to take a drink from the broken bottle, and the whole thing crumbled in his hand. He was about to take a sip. He lifts it up, and the whole bottle just crumbles, and the wine just spills all down. I've never seen a man look more defeated in my life. So he'd been trying to get that bottle open for like a fucking hour. He's like, "Fuck it, I'm getting the axe."
Cut the top of the bottle off.
This is why I just drink beer because you can open it with a sword without having to break the bottle.
Yeah, they don't really serve it. Well, I guess they still do kind. It's mostly in cans now.
I managed a sabrage of beer with an AKM bayonet.
Phew. That's how you do it.
You know, as I mull this over, with the information now available to us, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to convince them to go to Daydun. Think about it. Our plan is based on lying to them, or at the very least, stretching the truth to a point that it's basically a lie. And we're going to be doing this in front of a group of what, 38 like popes?
That
Each of them
probably
are-
know, the spell
yeah,
Zone of Truth.
Yeah, each of them a pope of a powerful deity, a number of whom are probably like notorious liars.
Why do you have to lie? I mean, what do we have to lie about?
Well, if we go in there and we say, hey, there's this guy called Pejma who wants to become a god, at least 1/3 of them are going to be like, okay, what's the problem here? Another third of them are probably like, okay, what's the problem here? And then maybe the good aligned third are going to be like, okay, maybe there's a bit of a problem here.
I don't.
The
I
good
don't
third
know
goes.
that
We
I
need
heard
we
you.
need to find a good guy to also go apotheosis at the same time to balance it out.
I think though, like, are you not legitimately convinced that he's a threat to these people? Like, is that the problem? Because he's pretty clearly a threat to everybody, right? He's like immortal, and he's clearly conquest focused. I mean, there's a lot of resources on Data, so presumably, like, there's a desire not to lose that shared foothold on this continent of like vast unexplored and unexploited riches to a power-hungry immortal. Is that not enough of an argument?
I'm not necessarily sure. They already talked about the potential of cutting their losses on the continent.
But it's not just their loss, it's somebody else's, an adversary's gain, or at very least a potential adversary's gain. So cutting their losses on the continent isn't just losing those resources, it's giving those resources to a potential threat.
It sounds like you volunteered to speak with the council.
Mina will absolutely speak with the council. How many drinks has she had by this point?
Well, it's morning of a new day, so you're still half drunk from last night.
This
Okay.
question still stands.
Wherever she's staying, do they have booze?
Well, you're in the mansion, I assume.
So yes.
Yeah.
So she definitely drinks
But
when she
does-
wakes up.
But does she have money since she spent all of it last night?
Do they charge money at the mansion for booze?
I mean, I think that would be up to Lieutenant, but considering it doesn't cost him anything to serve the booze.
Well, I'm sure Lieutenant's been making a lot of money off of this. He can probably fit the.
Doesn't cost me money.
Yeah, I mean, Mina's definitely going to start with some hair of the dog. I mean, she's not going to get like, she's not going to get smashed, but she's gonna at least have a little bit to drink.
Mm-hmm.
I have thought of a plan B, though. So if this doesn't work, we do have a fallback.
Do tell.
Now we can fight Godhood with Godhood.
Indeed.
Who's going to be our god?
Well, if all it takes is enough belief, you know?
Are you saying we start a cult?
Cult is
Man,
such a dirty word.
Mina's already got a deity. She doesn't really have a problem with a new deity for everybody else. She's gonna keep her current deity. She don't really have a problem with one of you being a deity or anybody else being a deity. But she gonna keep doing her thing. She likes her afterlife. There's jerky.
So is now the new plan to get a certain party member to deity status.
Mina, what if we told you this new afterlife to have jerk and booze?
Sounds a lot like her current afterlife. Mina likes her current afterlife because there's jerky and booze and lots of fighting.
I think that perhaps if we're going to attempt to create a god, we might want to create a shitload of evidence for it and then convince people. If that makes any sense. Think of it this way. Roll up to let's say, a group of Grung. Lay low their mightiest warriors, destroy their temples, and, you see where I'm going, right?
Don't we have? Does Nala still have a kingdom of kobolds?
She does.
So, I mean, that's a start.
That is, in fact, a start.
Hmm.
Out of curiosity, under
Mhm.
the soldiers going with the ambassador, were
Yeah.
they those regular ghoul-looking dudes with like the black scaly plate armor that we'd seen before in the standard legions?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they looked like this.
Perhaps we should pay the ambassador a visit. Nip that problem in the bud now.
We're killing a diplomat.
Yes. Unfortunately, he does not receive immunity from us.
So, Mina is cool with killing combatants, but unless you're gonna like give him a sword and he's gonna fight, she's not gonna murder an unarmed person.
Oh, I am 100% sure. God damn it, Under.
War does not have the same qualms about that. If the money is right, he'll kill anyone.
I guarantee you, the ambassador can definitely defend himself. Actually, out of curiosity, did he have that big towering undead that was with him last time?
His herald, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, if there's a scary bodyguard, Mina will kill the scary bodyguard. She's just not gonna kill anybody unarmed.
Exactly. Feel free to kill the scary bodyguard. Shall we go with that? Kill Pejima's main ambassador, preventing him from creating any new alliances?
That sounds like it'll create a diplomatic incident.
Yeah. He's gonna have
Is
to
that
find
not what
blame for
we're already
someone.
going for?
I think it's probably gonna hurt our PR a lot. Like it's gonna make us look a lot worse in this whole kerfluffle. But you know, whatever.
Make us look worse. Our current position is Portmore likes us. We have been conquerors and destroyers of civilizations everywhere else. Also, we're incompetent fucks who can't pick up a burning sword and a mace correctly.
Mina's got the burning sword, and she's happy to give it to Pejima just as soon as he wants to come over here and bend over.
That's what I'm saying. This attack on his ambassador is the first step on the route to, giving him that sword.
So we know. So we think the best plan is to make him angry at us by killing all his. Cool. Let's do it.
I mean, we could also just ignore him as a problem. Would you rather ignore him as a problem?
Oh yeah. We could pretend our problems don't exist. That works really well.
Exactly. Pretending our problems don't exist has never resulted in mass civilian casualties.
I mean, for Mina, it's usually just results in a hangover.
That's true. For some of us, though, it results in guilty conscience. Well, thoughts?
Nope.
Can't we just go kill Pejima so we don't have to deal with this anymore? I mean, he's only got one little army, one little vast army of undead. I mean,
We've established that's going to be kind of tricky, even if we do just like fucking zap in and shank him, because we don't know where the fuck is.
yeah, but I mean, if we all die, the good news is we won't be dealing with this anymore. It'll be somebody else's problem.
Yeah, for
And
Mina, it's a
jerky.
win-win. For Mina, it's a win-win. She knows where she's going.
Basil, Lieutenant, War,
Thoughts on what?
David? Should we
Convince him with
shove a
that.
sword right up Pejima's ass? Should we assassinate his followers piecemeal? Should we just ignore our problems and pretend they don't exist?
Well, if we can't convince these guys, and we're just back where we started, so we haven't lost it.
All right. We can attempt to convince them.
So what are you doing?
Mina's going to. What time in the morning is it?
Basil, if you could assist
8.
Mina in this process.
Wait, assist
8.
with what?
Mina's going to go ask Gilbert for 5 more platinum.
No, Mina, I
Hey,
need you
Maxim.
to speak with the consul.
Mina's gonna ask for 3 platinum.
Hold on a
How
second.
about this? I will give you 3 platinum upon completion of speaking with the consul. Attempt to convince them, as you were saying, to Pejima's military threat to their holdings on data.
I mean, Mina will agree to speak to them, but she is going to just mention that she's a sword. She's like a hired like weapon. Not really a diplomat. She's not really fit for that scene. She just wants you to be aware she's not responsible for anything that happens if that conversation takes place.
Well, true. That's why I would like Basil to go with you to assist you in this. I would rather not go myself, as I'm pretty sure I qualify as an apostate. Not to mention, I'd rather not draw the eye of the evil popes on that council by strolling in there with the Book of Vile Darkness.
It's a lot of fuss over a book, but all right.
It's
So
not just a book.
So is that what you guys are doing? You're sending Basil and Mina into the council chamber?
I don't know. Are they doing that?
I guess if that's the plan.
I'll go. Yeah.
Yeah, on the way there with Basil, Mina is going to stop and she is going to make a small purchase. She is, let's see, she's got, I think, like 10 gold to her name. So she is going to purchase a bottle of booze and drink it on the way.
Okay. That is easily doable. A cheap bottle of booze costs 5 copper pieces.
Oh my god.
We'll go a little more mid-range, but yeah.
All right, 2 silver.
Great. Mina gives him 1 gold for it.
Okay. So on the way to the council chambers, you're in the government district. You pass by a couple of high-ranking officers. They all wave to Mina as if they know her. Mina, you have no idea who these people are.
Mina is going to hold up her moderately priced alcohol and, be friendly if confused. This
Yeah,
is
they
not the
start
first
laughing.
time.
And you guys, after you dispose of your empty bottle, you walk into the council chamber.
Great.
Yep. They are discussing possible taxes to raise to fund a larger army due to recent tensions with Balothland.
Neat. I don't know anything about this council. Is there we walk in, are we just sitting? Are we going to be sitting until we're called up?
There are. So it's an amphitheater. At the center of the amphitheater, where you normally see a stage, is a long bench with 37 people seated there. Each person is on the table in front of them. There are 37 symbols, holy symbols, that mark which god each 37th person represents. In front of that table, kind of like down where the orchestra would normally be, there are about 20, 24 or so people in shiny plate mail with swords. Though none of them have any drawn, they just seem to be like the guards. And then there's a sloped, curving, seated area where you see bureaucrats and noblemen, some military people, mercenary commanders, captains, normal people as well, just citizens and things like that. People, while there's sort of a decorum of not speaking very loud while you're in here, because people want to hear what the council is saying. People are coming and going from the seated area fairly regularly. So, as the day's business is kind of winding down, you guys. So, if you're all listening to the council, you do get the sense that there are currently tensions in Cios between the major powers. And at least here in Venetia, there is concern of a war occurring or breaking out that will likely drag in other major powers and cause a lot of people to die for not much gain.
Hmm.
One person that has spoken to the council quite a bit today was an ambassador from the kingdom of Tamunzar, which is a country made up of mountain homes, primarily settled by dwarves. And a lot of what he's been talking about is implying a lot of close relations between Tamunzar and Venetia, and how they both have a border with Balathland. But as the business comes to a close, the guy in the middle of this 37 group, behind the signal of Agma, does speak up and does call out that the day's business has been concluded. Does anybody have any other topics to raise with the council?
And that's you.
Okay. Mina will stand up, and she's going to look at Basil. She's definitely not doing this on her own, so she's going to give him a death glare if he doesn't stand up.
Oh, I'm standing up.
Okay. Yeah, but Mina will speak up. She has some business.
Okay. They direct you to come down before the guard. There's like between the seated area and the guards is like an air, like a kind of like a podium. Think like a conductor's stand for the orchestra to address the council. They direct you to come down and speak your business.
Yep.
So, who are you, and what business do you bring before the council today?
Okay. Mina will introduce herself as Wilhelmina Woodhall. She will mention that she is employed by the Dayton Goofed Mercenary Company. And like out of character, I'm not really sure what level of like prep happened prior to this. For like what have the rest of the party been in front of these guys before? Any of them?
No.
No.
Yesterday we were supposed to, but we watched the thing, and when they said anybody wanted to say anything, the non-charisma characters didn't say anything.
The medal of oh shit! Did you? No.
I was going to ask about that.
So, are either of you guys wearing your medals?
I imagine I would be if we all have.
Mine's crushed at the bottom of a hole, and I'm not here.
Are these medals that have to do with fighting the Demogorgon?
Yes.
Yes. Remember,
Mina didn't fight the Demogorgon.
Yeah, that was Grub.
I mean, she fought in the city, but I don't think she got a medal.
You did not get a
I
medal.
don't think War was there either.
Well,
Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
So Basil's wearing his medal, though? Or did yours
no,
get left in the hole?
I think mine got left in the hole. We only have.
Oh,
We only have
wow.
knowledge. At this
Okay.
point.
Okay.
All according to plan.
I don't suppose we could have like
Just
taken knowledge to use for.
It's like, yeah.
Niall's not here.
Yeah.
Damn it, Sleuth.
And so they say, well,
somewhere.
well met, Wilhelmina. What business do you have with the council today?
Okay. So I'm sorry. Again, out of character. I don't know whether or not these guys are in any way aware of our concerns. Like, it sounds like they had some level of discussion about it already.
Hmm.
Something.
You mean these guys in the council?
They
Like,
are
they had dismissed something already
aware.
out of hand.
They're aware of the recently thwarted demonic incursion into Daydun. It's basically been laughed off. We are attempting to convince them that, like, Pejma is super bad for their colonial interests
We need
on
their
Daydun,
finance
and that they
support.
should totally do something to, take him out before he takes them out
Yeah,
and
he's
decides to
declared
go
himself
colonial on them.
Okay.
He's declared himself the God Emperor, and he's trying to lay claim to the entire continent.
Well, Mina's aware of that much.
Yeah.
I just wasn't aware, out of character, how much these guys knew about it, so I wasn't aware where I needed to start my argument. So yeah, Mina will say, that she's sure all of you are aware of the demonic incursion into Daedon recently, and the damage done to the continent, and she will continue. She'll say, in the wake of this incursion, this immortal god emperor Pejma has begun to sort of amass power, and he is certainly a threat in the immediate sense.
Yeah. So from the left, one of the high priests interrupts you at this point. You can see that it is the symbol of Cyric in front of him. And he says, do you mean to say that he is a god, or does he merely call himself one? And do you have any proof of his immortality?
Mina is. Let's see. I don't actually know how much Mina would know. I think it's clear he's a lich. I'm not sure what information we have on that, other
Well,
than
we have
he's
the-
obviously a fucking lich.
We have the information that's been relayed to us by Gilbert out of the.
We did receive a message from his envoy.
did.
A lot of it
I
boils
would
down
I
to,
would
like,
tell
his
the
textbooks
council
read, like,
that he
Mercurius.
titles himself as such, and he has amassed an army of undead. He seems to be a lich.
But not necessarily a god.
Yeah, that is a clear ambition.
All right. You're interrupted as you say that. No, sorry, not interrupted, but the high priest of Tempest speaks up and says, "It is concerning that he calls himself a god and that he has what you call an army of undead. Do you have any idea of how strong, what size this army is? And have you seen it with your own eyes?"
Lots and
We
lots.
have.
We have. There is
Lord
lots.
Idlewick said that it was to the
I
the
believe
horizon.
Mina is the one in the council chamber
Yep.
with Basil, so Basil could speak up.
Basil's there. Yeah.
Yeah, we received word from
I said
the.
I was
Okay,
Did
War's
you?
there as well.
All right. Well, anyway, we received word from the captain of the guard at Port Hamord, who is now the name. God, the name. Lord Commander.
Lord Commander Odwick.
Yeah, we received reports of undead armies stretching, and I quote, past the horizon.
But did you see this army yourself?
We saw this army in person, but not in the field. We have performed reconnaissance on it.
And your reconnaissance says that he has enough to stretch from here to the horizon.
He would rain across his land like a plague.
Mino was there to see Elcott and see some of this army prior to, and it sounds like it's gotten bigger since then. So she'll describe what she saw, how long ago that was. and that things have gotten drastically worse since then.
The priestess of Helm speaks up at this point. You are aware that we only have about 2,000 people in Port Hamor at the moment, yes?
Mina is keenly aware of that.
And from what it sounds like, this army is much, much larger than even the entire population of Port Hamor.
That is true.
Absolutely true.
Do they have a navy?
Port Hamor has a navy.
Port Hamor is a port.
Excuse me, I meant, does this Pejima have a navy?
Kind of pointless.
So I
one.
don't believe, this is out of care, I don't believe the city of Elcott is, it's near marsh, but it's not a port city.
It is on the
Does it have
coast.
it's on the coast.
It has a port.
So I would describe that the city is coastal. If I saw any ships, I will describe that. But I'm not going to tell them a lie.
Did we see ships while we were there?
You did not.
But Port Hamor has ships. They can just take those.
Port Hamor has ships. It is a second. It is a second center by which he could construct. Like it's another location he could use as a launching point.
Nothing good will come of allowing him to swallow a whole continent. I can tell you that.
Oh, Priestess of Helm speaking again. Oh, I quite agree that giving a lich with delusions of godhood is not exactly a good thing. The issue comes down to, however, whether or not he is actually a threat to Venetia across an ocean. And if he is, if we can spare resources to defend against him.
Mina would like to interject and say, basically what she's going to say is that before enacting any of his aggression, Pejima awaited the end of this demon incursion, which weakened the continent, and then he swept in immediately. By the sounds of the goings-on today, there is a good risk of similar conflict erupting in the near future here, and that it is very likely that he would just do the same again. His numbers are going to swell, with the people he's going to kill on Daedon, and with an undead army, anything he takes, if he's sweeping through the wreckage of the world, anything he takes is going to be a problem. It's twice as bad.
It's at this point that the Priestess of Baal speaks up. She appears to be speaking more to the council than to you. She says, I think I've heard quite enough. This Pejima seems to be a focal point of discord, of death and mayhem, and is now beginning to target our colonial interests. I would move that we dispatch a company of paladins to kill him.
I guess we're awaiting the rest of the council's reply.
Well, it's interesting. There was like this general murmur behind you of people in the seats and such like that. That all goes quiet. None of what you heard today was an outright call to kill or assassinate anyone. And here, a council member literally just spoke up and said we should go and kill this fuck.
He's like the evil guy too, or worships the evil feller. It's
So-
really weird.
This guy's kind of committed a faux pas here, is what I'm hearing.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a faux pas. You don't hear any calls, that like, oh shit. This is much more like he thinks. Sorry, you don't see them looking at him at like askance. More, this shit's gotten real type stuff. And
he does work with dark god, so.
And then, so the priestess of Baal sits to the left, with the evil contingent, if you want to think about it that way. Off to the right, there is the high priest of Tyr, and he speaks next. And he says, "I second this motion."
Of course, he would. Tempest would, without a doubt.
No, Tyr, not Tempest.
Tyr, the god of mercy, or whatever it's called.
God of justice.
Ah,
this is perfect because I don't know any of these gods, but neither would.
Why would the god of justice condone murder like that?
Fishy.
It's funny because the high priest of Lyra actually asks that of him and says, "Why would you want to murder a foreign national?" The high priest of Tyr responds by saying, "He appears to be an active threat to everything at this point. While I regret that death is, while I regret the necessity of it, I will not back down from that necessity. And if the council will have it, then we should do it."
snap. Ah.
Remember, this is a nation with capital crimes. So as far as justice is concerned, if the council says it's good to kill him, then that's not evil. And do you have anything else you're going to say, Mina, at this point? So everyone in the council just has kind of like a contemplative look on their face.
I don't think Mina has any other important information to convey. I think this is. Let me think. No.
Okay.
Well, just to provide a bit of a closing statement here, I'll point out that it's important that we act sooner rather than later before this becomes even more of a problem than it already.
Yeah,
And then
Mina.
it's not really a question of if he's a threat, but of when he'll become one that is
Mina. It will say, I'm a mercenary. I'm not. I'm not opposed to a war, but I got to tell you, the undead make poor drinking companions. So I'd rather nip this in the bud.
Yeah. What she said.
Okay. The high priest of Agma, who's currently seated in the center, speaks and says, "The motion has been made and seconded. And from the sound of it, debate has ended." And he has a list in front of him, and he starts reading it off. And following each god, and you can see he's going basically from left to right, each seat on the council, calling out the name of their god, and each priest or priestess responding, yay or nay on it. And the final count ends up being 23 yay and 12 nay, the rest abstaining.
What?
Out of curiosity,
Mhm.
were they voting along lines of good and evil, law of chaos?
All
Were there
of so how it went down. Let me see.
List of who voted what,
Yeah,
which god
sure,
voted what.
sure. Beshala,
okay.
Sirik, Malar, Talona, Talos, Umberly, Denier, Ball, Liara, Mask, Merkel, and Shar all voted yay. Bane, Gond, Lovitar, Agma, Saloon also voted yay. Tyr, Nistra, Tempest, Helm also voted yay. The rest either abstained or voted nay.
So, how does this run? Is this run on a majority? Is this run on 2/3?
That's what Agma says next is the motion has been carried. A force shall be dispatched. Shit, where's that guy's name? I have his name here. High Priest Brenzier. What forces do we have to send? And the person you can identify as the priest of Tempest speaks up next, the High Priest here, and he says, given the tensions with our neighbors and the possibility of war nearby, we do not have much to send. Potentials would include the 2nd or 3rd Paladin companies, the 1st Armored Missionary Troop, or the 7th Expeditionary Battalion. At this point, Mina, someone stands up behind you. Someone you vaguely recognize as one of your drinking buddies from last night.
Neat.
It is Major Hasamir. And when he stands, Tempest actually says, Major Hasamir, do you have something to add? And the Major simply states, he was in the front row, so he doesn't move, he just states from where he is, that he would like to volunteer the 3rd Paladin Company to take on the mission.
Sweet. Oh, shit.
Mina would be remiss if she did not indicate that the Data and Goofed mercenary company does have a vested interest in the continent, trying to keep things safe. That's where they work. So, they are willing to offer some services.
The Major turns to you and says, well, that would be most appreciated. High Priest Brenzier, if you accept this, we would like to deploy immediately. Our ship can leave within the hour.
Oh my god.
And the High Priest of Tempest says, unless there are any objections, I say we go with the Major. Here. He apparently has an interest in it. Very well, Major. The mission is yours. Bring our wrath to him. The Major salutes him, says it will be done, and turns to start walking up towards the exit.
I think this is where we bow out.
Yep, Mina gives a bow. And if we are dismissed, she will leave.
Yes, they make dismissive motions towards you, unless you have something else to say.
Not a thing. Mina will double time it back to Gilbert and collect her platinum pieces.
Mina, you really just drank your way into a crusade.
Best decision ever. That moment when you're fucking up actually helped the cause. Feels great.
What do you mean fucking up? This was all very deliberate, of course.
Deliberate.
Yep, there's a
Indeed.
reason they say the decisions are made outside of meetings.
Here is your 5 platinum.
Okay. After collecting her platinum, Mina will very quickly give Gilbert a quick rundown of the meeting, and then say goodbye. And then she's going to walk to the bar and
You
continue
know
to
what?
drink.
Fuck it. I'm going with you. I feel like celebrating after that.
That went over really fucking well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could have went very bad.
I gotta be honest, like, ideally, my hope was that they were going to withdraw the colonists from the continent. This has gone far better than I could have hoped.
Mina's going to save one bottle of ambrosia, and hold on. But she'll
Now we have an army of paladins, a group of paladins that's going to help us.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I'm assuming that they'll be outfitted with the best stuff, right?
I mean, they're paladins.
Good. So if the mission gets accomplished, but they don't all make it back, we can have their shit.
Yeah, that'll depend.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah.
Good.
Remember,
thinking
these are
about
going
the
to be
good
our
of the company.
comrades.
I'm just thinking about the good of the company, and then we
Of
take
course.
the dragon and this kingdom that Pejum is setting up on this little land of Daedon will belong to the Daedon Mercenary Company. And then we will go back to the mainland and take it.
I think we're going way fast assuming that.
War, let's not spoil the long.
his name is War, so of course he would say that. Mina is not opposed to world conquest. She doesn't really have any ambition, but she's not opposed to being in
if
an
you
army and
work for
taking over the
somebody, you
world.
have to
She
work for
just
the man
like,
who runs everything.
but there are things she's not going to do.
Lieutenant, were you able to acquire your ruby dust?
Who's Major Brenzier?
Resumes.
That major.
Really? Oh, I had him as Major Hasmir.
I thought you said Asmir too.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. My bad. I looked at the wrong name in my list.
Okay.
Wait. So is it okay? So it is Hasimir. Okay.
Yeah.
What was
I still
Benzier
have
the
Ben-
second company instead of the
no.
third?
Benzier is the high priest of Tempest.
Ah,
Makes
sweet.
sense. You know what? If Mina's got time after she picks up the her alcohol, she's not gonna hang out and drink. She's gonna buy a bottle of booze to take with her. Buy one for the road, which she's gonna drink on the way, and then she'll head down to the docks. And if she can get anywhere near the ship, she'll hand off that bottle to Major Hasmir.
There are no docks in Tatun.
Was there? Did he say he had a ship ready in an hour or something? I don't know
Yes.
what the logistics for that are.
So, Tatun is actually landlocked. It is not a coastal city. It's in fact carved into the side of a mountain.
I have to go to the coastal city.
So, Payton is the primary port city of Venetia. It's also its second largest city, and is the launching point for basically overseas missionaries, international trade, and their navy. It's ensconced in a natural bay which is why it has a very large docks area, because it basically has like a dozen miles of coastline that is protected from storms and invading ships, because there's like a narrow strait you have to go through to get in there. Only problem is they're easily blockaded in there, because they only have to blockade this little narrow strip to seal it in, which has basically happened every time Venetia's
That
fought
sounds like
a war
there's
with
significant travel time involved. If I want to go, he probably had to magic himself there to get there, so he could have his ship ready in and out.
Probably. You didn't see him
Oh.
when you went to go buy your booze.
Fair. Well, in that case, Mina will still purchase the extra booze, and she will hold on to it so that she can hand it off either at landing, or maybe it'd be a good prize if he survives the fight.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay. So it's like the early evening in town after you buy your booze and you've seen to the council. Anything else you guys are doing?
I guess we're probably plotting our next move with these guys heading across the.
Mm-hmm. How much grabbing was I able to achieve in this time?
Probably another 8 hours. So I believe that means you have like 2 hours of work left.
All right. All right. So, in terms of remaining things that we have on the docket, something we should look into. I'm assuming we're having this conversation on the demi plane, right? Because I refuse to leave that thing.
Yeah, or around the edge of the demi-plane.
Yeah, either in or.
You're all at a table in a bar, and there's just this hole in reality next to it.
Yeah.
Just a whole reality with his voice coming through it.
Yeah, all the drunk patrons can't remember if that door used to be there.
Spookiest fucking cafeteria table.
Mm.
Right. So, in terms of other things that we can do, I once again put forward the motion that we eliminate Pejima's ambassador, and from there proceed to remove other high-value assets.
I don't know.
I would
The
rather
boat's,
not
the boat's
have him.
been completed. I will say, I don't. Did I see this ambassador? Is this ambassador somebody I would have recognized in that room, in like the courtroom or the?
No, he's talking about Pejima's ambassador, the one we scryed on the other day.
Oh, he was in the fucking middle of the jungle. I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
That's what I'm saying.
I couldn't care less, because we already got the go ahead to murder the man. So
Yeah.
I am
There's a
saying
question.
we eliminate some of his key assets so that he has less to draw upon when it comes to fighting those paladins.
I am totally fine with doing some guerrilla warfare in the jungle, and like murdering all his people. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, that's all
All
fine
right.
and dandy, but there's a question we should ask here, which is how long is it going to take for them?
Well, I'm just wondering how we're going to kill Pejima for good, you know?
We'll have to get there.
I mean, if we kill him enough times, he'll like go crazy, right? He'll be like,
No, as long as he has souls to feed him, he won't go crazy. For all we know, he might.
we'll just be really quick about it and kill him before he gets to eat any souls every time. It'll work.
Something we will likely have to come to terms with is that Pejima cannot be beat. We might, however, be able to, I suspect this, loosen his grip on the material plane. Similar to how he disappeared for 700-ish years after his city got blown up and his library banished to the abyss. That might be the kind of situation we're in, where we'll just have to keep kicking his shit out of this plane.
Interesting.
Some of the other information I've gathered would indicate that This isn't the first, and it's likely not to be the last time Pejima's risen to power.
I don't know. I prefer the finality of just having him no longer exist.
Finality is nice, but according to at least some of the extraplanar scribes I know, he has a history of rising again.
Right. A history. Like he will be soon.
Until he comes back. Remember, he was history until the demonic incursion ended.
Well, good. It'll he'll be used to it when it happens to him. Forever.
Yeah.
I still say we should be eliminating key generals, leadership, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
that is
no,
something I suppose we can do.
I think that's
does
something we
sound
can all agree on.
Yeah.
Cripple his army's ability to effectively mobilize itself.
Right.
Now, I will say though, we do have the potential that if he sees that a large amount of his force is dissipated, he may go to ground and change tactics. Like if we're assassinating like key figures, it might change his strategy.
I suppose we'll have to play by ear. As long as we have access to scrying, maybe we should scry longer to see if there's other connected people with that ambassador. There's his champion.
Yeah, I would say that we could attempt to kill Armaros.
Question.
I believe
Now,
that would
I
be
was
tipping
concerned
our
about the
hand.
ambassador for this reason, which was clearly a mistake, but do we have any reason to believe he has knowledge about what is happening on this continent? Or maybe what has happened in that meeting room?
Plausible? Do they have a lead line room? I don't think that was obvious.
Unless he was scrying on one of you guys, to my knowledge, I don't.
We can't
Well,
rule it out, but I don't know.
it's worth exploring because you don't want him to know anything's up until he's in the middle of getting murder fucked. At that point, it's okay. I mean, it's better if he never knows. But I mean, if he's already in the middle of being murder fucked, it's acceptable that he knows he's being murder fucked.
I'd be very concerned about his perceptions that he became a god emperor if he could be murder fucked and not be aware of it.
Well, I'm just talking about the ideal scenario is he gets murder fucked without being aware of it. I'm pretty sure that's why you hired the assassin. It's because it's generally preferable if the enemy is murder fucked before they're aware of it.
Oh, this is true. War does create problems that then need to be solved by other means.
I can do that very well. I kill things very good. Most of the things I kill never even knew what hit them.
If we were to deploy tomorrow, Basil, would you have the resources to scry and fry him?
Well, to scry and fry who?
Pejima's diplomat.
If it were tomorrow, yeah, but I was going to ask, as I did before, how long it's going to take for those paladins.
Oh, yes. How long would that take?
We don't know. Nobody told us.
Well, I mean, we would know how long it takes to sail across the ocean, wouldn't we?
Yeah, it typically takes about a month.
Can we assume that Nala has met this general so that way he could be a target for sending or something? Maybe we could coordinate something.
Hasn't Under been operating sending, like just being aware of them, as good enough to use sending?
I mean, if you know their name, that's usually good enough.
All right.
Very good.
I wonder if I could help make those ships go faster. I bet I could. I'd have to be there though.
Well, I mean, we could try to rush over to there and see if we could hitch a ride with them. I mean, I'd like to maybe buy more booze if I'm going to be stuck on a sailing ship for a month. But
Well, hopefully
Yeah,
it
my
would be less
finances
than a
are
month.
getting a little strapped right now.
I do have funds, and I am unconscious. If it would be for the party's agenda, I wouldn't mind parting with some of the funds, I suppose.
Mina's not going to rob you for drinking money.
Yeah, Gilbert might be evil, but he's not gonna like abuse his henchman's trust. That's a great way to get, thrown down a chute.
Mm.
Undo a bunch of arrows. That
Fair
happened.
point. Like, I would be in character if Dean was conscious, totally willing and happy to do. It would be a different context if I was, knocked out, I suppose. Unfortunate.
Mina just doesn't want to go through the DTs on a fucking ship.
That's what I'm thinking with Scry and Fry. We could also use this opportunity to get in contact with other factions that might be amicable to us.
Hmm. Yeah, there's
Actually,
a thought.
I don't remember what the rules are. If we were to open up a magnificent mansion on the ship, does the fact that it's on a moving surface mean we're good, or is that we're just going to open the door and it's going to be ocean and the ship's going to have been going on? I assume, like, it's weird because you'd want it to be the former with a ship, but for most purposes, you'd probably want it to be the latter. So I don't know how you'd want to roll
Well,
that.
if that's the case, we could just win and walk to the ship, assuming we know the direction. Wouldn't be too much of a hassle.
Yeah, I guess you just open up the mansion if we're in like the doldrums one day.
We're
And
really
just
gonna take a ship
open the
back,
bar.
or we're just what? I thought we were gonna like tree.
I mean, there's an army taking a ship back, and we could get them there faster if we were on the ship.
Yeah. I'm reading Magnificent Mansion, and it says you choose where the entrance is, which you could interpret really liberally to mean that you can move.
It's when you cast it, you choose where the entrance is.
Yeah.
Can you choose that the entrance is on the ship? Like affixed to its hull?
I mean, really, all space is relative.
I mean, technically, you can't. At words is written, you can do that because it doesn't specify you can't. So,
Well, yes, it has to be specified as a relative frame of reference always. Because otherwise, as soon as you cast it, the thing goes, the portal just gets immediately either blasted into the sky or through the ground.
Right. I mean, the planet's moving.
Well, the whole solar system's moving.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's relative
like
to
the door
what, right?
going
Like,
to the captain's quarters.
is it
You could
relative
say
to
the
the
door
Earth?
going to the captain's quarters.
Right.
is the door.
I mean, it's basically relative to whatever frame of reference you're using to pick that position. It doesn't move relative to that frame of reference.
Right.
So we have a mansion on the boat.
You could have a mansion on the boat, is what I'm getting at.
Cool.
That sounds good.
It wouldn't. Once you cast it, where that entrance is on the ship is fixed, but the ship itself won't, blow apart as you tear your portal through the middle of the ship, sinking your new paladin force.
Nice. Okay, good. Good to know.
Beware of magic in
So I think
non-inertial reference.
we should maybe try to figure out how we're going to quickly get ourselves to the port town, which is not where we are, and then catch that ship before they leave.
Well, he said he was going to be there within an hour. How do you think he's getting?
Well, we don't need to be there.
We just need to be on the ship.
Yeah.
Guys, we don't even need to go on the ship. The paladins can arrive in 30 days. That's not going to affect our timetable. Pejma's headed back to that ruined city we were at.
Well, imagine how much stuff is going to happen in 30 days.
Yeah, we
What
could
if
speed that along, and once we got Pete on there speeding things along, we'll still have everybody else around. We might be able to find some other stuff we can do to fuck with them from there.
Yeah, there's a thought.
That's just it. We could
Out
be
of,
spending
like-
that.
Yeah, sorry, continue.
I was just gonna say we could be spending that 30 days removing opposition and creating alliances ahead of time for when the paladins arrive.
Well,
Otherwise, we have the problem of there are now paladins in Portamore, and I somehow doubt that paladins marching across a continent are going to be particularly subtle.
or we could make allies with the paladins by getting them sloshed for the whole less than a month that they have to spend on the ocean, because we helped speed them along.
We don't need them to be allies. They've already committed to a crusade.
Yeah, in a month.
A month. So what could happen in a month,
A
man?
lot. A
lot.
lot.
We were still
man.
fighting those demons a month ago.
Right.
Yes, a lot can happen in a month. I'm saying we should be spending that time ensuring that we have as large an advantage as possible for when our main force arrives.
Is there something about being on the boat that's going to make it harder for us to get to Port Hamor than it is from here?
Yes, there are no trees on the boat, and given Sleuth's attendance, we will not have access to teleport.
So we need to bring a tree.
Wait, has the boat left yet?
We have like less than an hour.
Oh
So-
my god.
So so we bring a tree.
No, we don't have to do that. There'll be trees at the port.
Oh, I think he wants to bring a tray at the boat.
Think this way. We have also seen what the Major looks like, yes? We know who he is?
Mina
scry on him.
and Pete have
We
seen
can
the
scry
Major,
on him
yes.
and teleport onto the boat as needed. We don't need a race there.
Okay, hold on. Yeah. We have teleport, right?
Exactly. We have teleport accessible whenever Sleuth is present. We have Tree Strider teleport via plants, whatever the fuck it is, available only as long as we have trees with us. So I'm saying we use the trees, eliminate people on day done, make allies where we can, and we can continue to hop between those locations and the boat.
Wait,
Yes,
what
but-
if
okay,
we
I got a
just rush to the port right now before they get on the boat, and I can just take all of them to the other continent without them having to say.
That would be helpful. That might be hard for you to do. That sounds like a lot of people.
It would take several days.
That is
Also
still an
for
improvement.
provisions.
We can move provisions too. The one thing I would say is they might not like that because it's. I
Cuts
mean,
off their
maybe we
means
should
of returning.
Yeah.
maybe we shouldn't worry about that as much. We should just ask them because we don't have an hour to decide.
Yeah, why don't we just head
Yeah.
there and try to work something out with them before we do anything?
Yeah, because if we
Alright.
do that, that answers my question. My question is Gilbert going to have to hide in that portable thing from Pejima for 30 days while we wait on the paladin reinforcements? Because the moment he comes out, Pejima's coming for him.
Well, we're assuming this due to the presence of the Book of Vile Darkness.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're not
actually
going to talk about that again while we're on this continent. Let's just not even.
Character, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Why don't we settle this after we've caught up with those guys at the port? All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is get everybody to step into the. I don't know if we're in the mansion right now. Are we in the mansion right now?
Com check.
We're
I hear
in
you.
the-
Director?
Left the paladins in a demi-plane, teleport, pull the paladins out of the demi.
Oh, well, we got to get there first. That's the problem. So are we in the mansion right now?
No, you're out on the town right now. Like you're in the
Right.
street just
Right.
outside of the government area.
With
In
the
that
spooky
case-
door hanging in the air.
Yeah, in that case, we should all pile into the spooky door so that I can plane shift us down to the port of under what was it called again that they're leaving from?
Paytun.
All right, and I'm gonna try and specify the port of
Okay. So plane shift does require the target be on a different plane.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we went into the spooky door.
Got it. I missed that part.
The spooky door.
Technicalities.
It's great. Okay. So you then plane shift to the Payton, anywhere in Payton in particular, or just Payton is your destination?
I guess the Payton, what would you call it?
You said the port the first time.
The port district.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you meant the port as in the port of Payton, as in the city, or if you meant a specific district. That's why I was clarifying. Because the spell will just know what you meant, but I don't.
Has her fingers crossed that we don't land in the water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in a demi-plane. I'm safe from the ocean.
All right, you guys plane shift, and you immediately are assaulted with the smell of sea salt in the air, seagulls crying overhead, and the sound of wood creaking. Behind you, you see a long dock full of lots of ships. In front of you, you see kind of laid out in front of you a city of some kind, and men carrying various items are walking all around you. It seems to be a fairly active dock.
All right, let's see. Did I prepare the correct one for this? I did. All right. I remember the name of that guy who was leading that legion of paladins.
Major Hasimir.
All right. I would like to locate creature for him.
Okay, let's see, locate creature that is within 1,000 feet. He is 800 feet to the south.
All right.
To the south.
I will lead the way.
Okay.
Do you know the way?
I'm so happy that I remembered to prepare that.
Nice.
Okay, so you go down and you see Major Hasimir in his mere finished plate armor. Appears to be directing several people about this. There is a ship nearby on him. The ship is named the Wrathbringer.
I get it now.
Bring our wrath to him.
Shut up, you weren't there for that.
I will still laugh at
And
that.
you see, kind of marching up the gangplank to the ship, what appears to be groups of people in similar plate mail. Though they have various orderlies and accoutrements with them, such as what you would carry for an extended leave from home. Backpacks and trunks and things like that. You can see that there are also several horses being loaded onto the ship via a wooden crane.
Hey Spectre, quick question. Is there a limit to how big you can make the entranceway to demi-plane?
Just sail the whole boat in.
Yeah, just take the fucking boat.
I'm not sure if there's a limit to the entrance size. I do know that the actual demiplane's 30 by 30.
Sound like it's gonna work.
It's probably not going to fit that thing in there.
Probably not going to fit these men and their horses and their gear and their, supplies.
Do what we can.
Yeah, I wonder how fast the ship could get across the sea if it had supernatural assistance.
I mean, even if they could carry more supplies if they could transport stuff via demi-plane, they could have supplies waiting for them. We could have maybe some supernatural propulsion methods. There's a lot of things that could be done here to make this more efficient.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I'd like to kind of try and ask him about how he expects this sea journey to go in terms of getting over there.
Kind of listening, he says, well, it'll be fairly standard. We put everyone on the boat and then we sail over there. Then we find this Pejima guy and we kill him.
Right, I'm just asking about the sea conditions and about the possibility of expediting your journey.
Well, we don't have anything like that. What can you bring to the table?
Well, if I were to remain on the ship for the duration of your journey, I could cause the winds to favor you and give you consistent, clear weather across.
Wild idea. What if we all just turned into what is this wind strike? What the fuck is this
Wind
the
walk.
thing called? Wind walk. What if we all just wind walk and just push into the sails the whole? That'd suck, but it would probably be pretty fast. I don't volunteer for that. That would suck.
Yeah, don't.
The entire crew, all the paladins, are killed by the sheer number of G's they were exposed to.
They all fall overboard and sink because they're all wearing, undershirt. Turns out they can't swim.
Not in plate.
It's not true. You can swim in plate for like 6 hours. It is entirely possible.
You can swim in a downward direction as long as you like.
Right.
I mean that Gilbert didn't drown while treading water in the ocean for like 6 hours.
It is, however,
That's
incredibly
Gilbert.
exhausting.
This is true. But it builds character. It builds character. You become less of a pansy by doing this.
Right, and then you die.
But you don't die a pansy. Yeah. While we're here, Mina will say she will offer him the bottle of ambrosia she brought along, and say whether or not we can be of assistance. This should help.
I'm sure it will, and he takes it. Yes, well, thank you very much. Are you seeking passage to Port Hamor with us?
That's a question I'd like to pose to the rest of the party.
Mina doesn't have any problems getting on the boat and going if that's the way we want to handle this. But there's not any point if we can't speed things up significantly. So
Yeah,
I literally hang out in the demi-plane all day, It doesn't
that's
really
for the
matter to me.
best. That's
out of
for the
character,
best.
I feel like if we don't help these guys get there faster or travel with them, it's not going to have mattered.
Yeah, we don't really want them to show up like 12 days after Pejima is dead, and also now Gilbert's like the big bad, and they arrive just in time for that.
And they're like,
they
our order
arrive
said
just in
Pejima.
time.
They look at Gilbert. Close enough.
Close enough.
Yeah,
Well,
we
need
get to
Crusaders
Yeah.
have never
comes
done
out
that
as the-
before.
There's like a crude drawing of Pejima, and it kind of looks like Gil.
It's got some gnarly chain hair.
Yeah.
And it's got this book that literally hurts our eyes when we look at it.
It's gonna be like
They're gonna sack Elcott, under Gilbert's command. They're gonna sack it like Constantinople.
Is there any other way to sack it?
Put them all to the sword.
So I think yeah, I'm totally down for trying to speed this up. I don't think Mina has any tools in the toolbox that'll help other than she could load some cargo, help this move. I don't think I'm pretty sure there's no oars involved in this. Mina has no sailing experience, but she can haul some stuff.
Yeah, it appears to be a galleon.
Yeah.
It's a sailing ship.
I assume they have a navigator with them. I'd have to work with them to ensure that we're helping this ship go as fast.
It's a fisherman navigator.
Yeah,
I
they
think
weren't.
you might actually have
They weren't
access to
planning
control
on you
weather.
guys having, assisting them in any way. So they have a navigator. They have a captain. They have sufficient supplies already for feeding everyone and watering everyone to get to Port Hamor.
Right.
Watering it.
Those barrels, they were full of grog.
Oh, yeah.
That's gonna be gone with Nina.
Well, if we're prepared to go on this sea voyage, and it sounds like everyone is okay, then I think that's what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm just gonna stay in my cabin.
All right. So you guys are just gonna take the ship.
I think so, unless
Sounds like-
anyone has any objection.
Nah, I'm not caring.
Okay. And what do you guys do to assist in the journey, if anything?
I'm glad you asked. We hit there. The spell that I'm referring to is Control Weather.
What's up?
It is an 8th level spell that I can concentrate on for 8 hours a day. Very convenient. Let me see, what book is this in? Oh, this is in the PHP.
Yeah, I've got it open. I'm looking at it.
Oh, cool, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the conditions will initially be like, but I'd like to keep precipitation, temperature probably cool, and I guess strong wind, gales or storms, I imagine, would probably damage the ship.
Yeah, they would tend to not be running full sail, and that to avoid doing things like tipping the ship over or wrecking the mast.
Yeah, I basically want to create, like, constant ideal sailing conditions, with the
Right.
wind
Okay.
continuously at the backs the whole way.
Okay. All right, so you work with their, I believe it would be the ship's master for this. And you keep the weather perfect on the way there. 20 days later, you guys arrive in Port Amor. Dean has woken up at this point.
Huzzah!
He actually woke up
He's
like
still asleep.
he was. Funny you should say that. In a worst case scenario, he might have been.
Still unconscious.
Yeah, maybe. If he'd gotten a 10 on that, it would have been 1,000 hours of unconsciousness.
Ooh.
Oof.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was very fortunate.
Mhm. But yeah,
Don't
it's like
read Gilbert's spook.
it's like the end of the first day, and he like wakes up. So everyone's on the boat already.
You're on a boat.
Oh my god.
Never thought you'd be on a boat.
20 days later, you guys see land. It's a very familiar coastline. The fairly familiar city that you're heading towards.
Does it look fucked?
Oh, did they actually have any artisans in the boat before those 20 days elapse?
No. No, they did not.
That's not what this was
This
for.
is a military transport ship.
You have misconstrued the purpose of this voyage.
I'm more than happy to get my fair share of knowledge if I can
It's
help
like-
it.
The ship is like one of those pictures where it's the inside of a can of whoop.
Did they have any smiths?
There are
That's what I was
smiths.
getting at.
Okay, that's
That's what I
true.
was getting at.
Sorry, when you said artisans, I was thinking like painters and things like that. Like, no, there's no fucking
Oh,
artisans.
no. I'm talking about practical stuff
Yeah,
like
you wanna learn how to
navigators,
make
crew.
barrels?
Well, they would have the church mandated chronicler to sing ballads of all of their inevitable exploits that haven't.
Oh yeah.
Do they
can't
have
a crusade
shipwrights?
without remembrancers?
Maybe woodworking tools?
So there's a couple carpenters on the ship. There is a couple blacksmiths, so they're attached to the third paladin group or paladin company. There is a couple. I forget the term for it, but a couple of rope makers.
Yeah.
One tailor.
All right.
A cook. Well, two cooks. One is the ship's cook. The other is actually the cook for the third pallies. Let's see. Oh, by the way, I guess I should tell you what the composition of the third paladin company actually is. It is 27 high-level paladins.
Wow. How high?
Dang.
I
Higher
have
than Gilbert.
no, maybe. They all have access two. Shit. I have to find the stat block still. But it's not like they're not. They're equivalent to like CR12 each.
It's just one stat block. It's a swarm of paladins.
Oof.
And they all have
Never
war
gets
horse
swarmed.
mounts here. They have basically that 27 includes the major couple of a couple of captains, a bunch of lieutenants, the NCOs, all of them. There's no separate stat blocks for the officers or normal paladins. They're all just paladins. And with them, there's also a smith. There's no mages. There is exactly 2 priests. Mostly it's 27 paladins and their mounts. That is like the core of their combat capability. Everyone else is support.
Okay. Are sewing tables a thing at this time?
Not really.
Because I'm interested in learning, what do you call it, weaver's tools, or perhaps some woodcarver's tools.
Mina's proficient with Weaver's tools. She does not currently have any such items.
I can
She does.
fabricate
She has
them.
adamantine Weaver's tools, but she doesn't have like a loom or anything anymore. She had to give that away so they could be turned into something.
As long as I know what it looks like, I'm pretty sure I can arrange it.
Well, a loom is made for making cloth. It's where you take thread and weave it into a cloth. If you're talking about like taking that cloth and making clothes, it's usually done by hand.
Yeah.
Ah.
But if you just need to learn how to use Weaver's tools, I don't know how that works.
I would be interested in the process. I think Under has a system of so many weeks plus or minus intelligence.
Yeah, so the base is 10 weeks of training, which is reduced by your intelligence modifier if it's positive.
Yeah, I've got 20. So I guess it'll be 5 weeks and I still wouldn't. All right.
So it'd be 35 days, basically, of training you would need. But you can get, 20 days of training.
And a whiz of 8.
Yeah, so that would still just be 10 weeks. It doesn't go the other way.
Okay. Mina's willing, but I don't think she's a good teacher. She would definitely be like real bored of it. She would do it, but she would be unpleasant the whole time.
I mean, if you volunteer to, get trained in an artisan's tools by someone on the ship who knows them, basically they do it by putting you to work on the ship.
I'd be happy to do it, as long as I learn. I also have the robot to help me, so...
I mean, I presume...
One more week on my smiths.
I presume they get like a sailmaker or something.
Actually, let me top off Spook. Let me top off Spook with the Smith's tools. I'd like to help him with that first.
Okay, I mean, you basically have 20 days you can devote to doing downtime activity on the ship. How you split that up is entirely up to you.
Yeah, except for
okay. Would it be possible for me to have this stuff pre-laid out? I don't think it's going to affect anything immediate. Would it be possible to get back to you later on all the stuff I like to do?
Yeah, like I said, you have 20 days. Figure out how you want to spend it. Tell me afterwards. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Very
Mina
good.
does nothing constructive beyond, like, she puts herself to work, but she doesn't try to learn anything.
Okay.
Yeah, Basil is just going to be in the crow's nest the entire time, going womp, 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 and waving his arms around.
Is Gilbert able to find stuff along those PM'd lines?
Possibly. Those each would require that int check.
Of course.
To troll through the book's search engine.
That's for the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Okay, so for the first one, yes. there are many different things you can do with paladin souls. You know, did you know you can force someone to be what was it? Shit.
An Oathbreaker?
No. But if you kill, basically, if you sacrifice a bunch of paladins in a certain way, you can basically create a Death Knight under your control.
Couldn't you just steal their souls and put them into crystals and then command the? No.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
You could soul trap.
It's not a very efficient ritual.
It's fun.
I mean, it gives you a CR18 creature under your control. That's pretty nifty.
That is pretty nifty. But it takes 17 paladin souls to make it.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a lot of oof paladins.
And they have to be alive, and then as part of the ritual, you end up killing them all. So you need living paladins that you can keep contained for about an hour.
Like,
do you think it would be a good idea to tell the captain or major about these drugs that I totally offer the mercenary company? And perhaps offer them to their regiment?
Want some combat stims?
Mm-hmm. This is good shit.
Gilbert, you also find a process in that book when you're looking for what to do with paladin souls. As it turns out that there is a process listed in the book for the manufacture of soul coins.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Interesting.
I'll ask Mina that. I suppose I'll ask Mina that.
I mean, it would probably tell you that all of these people have, like, you know, they're essentially soldiers. It's not like they haven't seen this shit. They might not all partake, but I don't think you're going to offend anybody.
What about that second one?
The second one, he used Detect Thoughts on you, the spell.
Ah, okay. Wait, seriously, you can use Detect Thoughts to dig that deep?
Yes, he's a very powerful magic user.
Ah, okay. It's the degree in which he's able to.
Yes, I mean, he upcast it, and you kind of flubbed your save on it, too.
Well, yeah, because I willingly allowed it to happen. That's the point.
Well, yes. And Detect...
That's a flub.
Yeah. I basically treat that as, a total failure.
Right.
And it turns out that Detect Thoughts... he's also a telepath, so he could telepathically prompt your mind to then bring things to the forefront, which you could use Detect Thoughts to read.
Nifty.
Mm-hmm. So if you could find a way to cast Detect Thoughts and at the same time have telepathy, you can then start interrogating people's minds without ever actually talking to them.
The more you know. Also, how much time elapses?
For what?
This journey?
20 days.
It's 20 days.
All right. I do believe a certain thing kicks in there under. Yes?
Well, yeah, unless you do something evil.
No, I have what I need.
20 days without doing anything evil?
I mean, unless like sitting in your demiplane cabin cackling maniacally counts as evil, then,
All right.
then no.
I mean,
Huh.
it does its thing.
All right.
I'm very surprised. I thought you were going to hold on to that longer.
Okay. So just so you know, when that happens, it takes an hour or so before you begin to feel the effects of what deattunement does. So the ability scores are unadjusted. The mark of darkness remains. Let's see. If you gained it from the book, you lose your proficiencies in deception and medicine. The aura no longer is in effect. Your flaw is back to normal. You gained those like 15 pounds back.
I got that freshman 15.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I suppose he loses the chain here.
No, that's
No.
what I said. The mark of
Mark of
darkness
darkness.
remains.
Oh,
He is
that's
still
what that is,
disfigured.
okay.
Yes, that is a permanent effect.
Yeah, I'm still an ugly piece of shit.
Can't you cosmetically alter that through like what do you call it? Regeneration?
That's how
Y-
curses work.
I mean, possibly, but we're talking about something Gilbert's attuned himself to, and those all have a history of being very, very permanent.
I mean, really, the number of permanent effects from this were actually very minor once you deattune to it.
I meant more the history of things Gilbert's attuned to. Like I'm still fucked up from that cursed sword from like session 7.
Oh
The
my
two
gosh,
dragon
can't we?
swords.
Yeah. Gilbert is
Doesn't
like
Great
Mikey.
Restoration get rid of that actually?
Nope.
No, Mick, it's we've covered that turf like 5 times now. Literally nothing I think short of us using the wish was going to correct that issue.
Oof.
Like every single one of Gilbert's issues are, we gotta burn a wish on that.
Gilbert is Mikey from the Life cereal commercial. They're like, give it to Mikey. He'll eat anything. So Gilbert will tune to anything.
Damn.
He
Give it to
likes
Gilbert.
it.
He'll
He
attune to
really
anything.
likes it.
He'll link anything to his soul.
I mean, now I have a copy. I can literally do that as much as I want now, assuming a 9th level spellcaster is willing to humor me.
That commercial was buried deep in my mind until you dug it out.
Okay. But on the 20th day, the ship slides into the Port Hamor harbor.
Mina will announce our arrival in a triumphant fashion with her sham.
Okay.
Oh, what? What's a
It's
sham?
It's the big fancy horn.
Yeah.
Ah.
No one seems to care.
Because
She
they're
will
all
play
dead.
louder.
You do see that there is what appears to be like one of those veterans from the demon invasion.
You can keep
You
it.
know?
I'm not.
On the dock waiting for you guys.
Excellent.
So as you begin disembarking, he kind of strolls over and he begins to talk to the major. They seem to say a few things, and then they begin walking off towards the keep.
Well, we should probably find out what's been happening here over the past 20 days.
That would be a good idea.
Indeed.
Is the Sword and Board in a good enough condition that Mina can drink?
Yes.
She proceeds to the Sword and Board Inn.
I wonder if we set like a world record on the fastest like trip between the two continents. I bet we do.
I mean, maybe with the striding between them, but
Well, no, I mean like the fastest ship voyage.
it's the fastest voyage that vessel's probably.
Yeah.
Probably. So, all right. Mina goes to the bar. What do the rest of you guys do?
I guess I'll go ahead and go with.
Go to the. I go with Mina.
I continue to hang out inside of my demiplane. Or my rented demiplane, I should say.
Have I ever been introduced to Lord Odwick? Ever seen him before?
No, I don't think Dean's ever met him. We met Dean out in the field, and we never returned after that point.
Yeah. I suppose now would be a good time as any, I suppose, to pay my respects to him.
Probably good to go check in regardless.
Okay. So, some of you are going to the keep.
Yeah, I'll go to the keep.
Alrighty. Yeah, so you get to the keep. You do manage to catch up to the major and, Charlie, the guard. Yeah, and Vorcha just kind of waves you guys through. And you meet there, and, you go up to Lord Odwick's office. And when you walk in, he immediately stands up, points at the major, and says, "I sincerely hope you're not here for me."
Guessing the major's got all the important plans, so sure.
That or their friends, and they're about to.
And the major laughs and says, "Well, not this time."
Knew it.
Laurent simply says, "Good. Now, why are you here?"
They're referring to me, right?
No, he's talking to the major.
Yeah, you just had like a sovereign power bring a large military force into Port Amour.
Well, it's his own. It's his own military ship.
Yeah.
Like, it's his same country.
Yeah.
Like you don't deploy paladin companies to
For no
like
reason, though.
for no reason. Yeah. So
Yeah, this is like if the Green Berets all showed up at your house.
Yeah, it's a concern.
SEAL Team 6 pulls up in your driveway.
Yeah.
yes. And the major is very blunt. He says, "We're here to kill this Pejima guy." And Lord Odwick just kind of gives him like this blank, like burnt face stare. And then he says, "Oh, good. He is, to the east. He's not here. Or sorry, he's to the west."
Yeah, when you crossed the seas to get here, he went across the sea to burn our home.
And he asks the major to accompany him, and he takes you guys to the map room.
I bet that fucker got there in 19 days, too.
Bastard.
18. He got there in 18 days.
That son of a bitch.
Wait,
He stole
How-
our record right from under of us.
how did he even?
So, in the map room, they have a big table with a map of the area around Port Hamor. And he basically, which is more or less the same map you guys have, just on a larger scale. And he basically points out the Silent City of Elcott and says, well, here's where he is. Now, how quickly are you going to get out of my city? And yeah, the Major actually turns to Dean. So I think, is Dean the only member of your guys that went there?
No, I went there.
All right, so he turns to Dean and Basil, and the Major does, and he asks the two of you, is that right? This is where Pejima is based out of? This, he looks back at the map, Elcott?
That's correct.
Yep.
Good. We will need some space to quarter our men for the night, and we will set out for a naval assault starting on the morrow.
Under
Mhm.
I know where the throne room is, correct?
The throne room.
Of this Pejima guy.
In Elcott.
No. You
Whenever
you know where
at
you know
our
where his the tent that you met him in was, but you sort of leveled the keep that used to be there. Last you were there was no keep to have a throne room in.
Ah, but he had like a
Okay.
tabernacle like area, correct? Where he had a
He had an area where he
suppose a
kept
mixture.
court.
yeah. Do we have
Yes.
any means to Gios to rescout that area, see if there are new additions and such?
You mean scrying?
Scry, that's what I meant.
I can scry to where the tent was, or if we saw that keep, then I can scry to that.
Couldn't you just like literally scry on the city?
Well, that would be more general. And yeah, I could do that.
It would give us a pretty good bird's eye view.
Okay, yeah, I'll scry on Elcott, which I think I've been to.
Probably keep
You
an eye
have.
out for where the concentration of defenses are. Like if you see
Yeah.
there's a
So are you doing that in the
concentration of
map room here with Odwick and Hasamir?
Sure, yeah, I'll let all them see.
Okay. So you scry on Elcott. And, when you start doing so, the meter's like, oh, I like this. Yeah, you're coming with us. For sure. And yeah, so you get a nice overview of the city of Elcott as it currently stands. Do I have a map for you? That's the question. I might.
Yeah. Map.
Here you go. This is what you see from your aerial view.
Is that thing in the center a new addition?
Nope, that is that large, perfectly circular lake that was in the center of town before. Which happens to match that circular area with the pyramid that you found somewhere else.
Out in the salty
Funny
flats of the abyss.
Yep. Yeah, so it would appear that at least construction has begun on fortifications for the keep. You can see that there is some harbors. They don't appear to have any ships. The lighthouse is still knocked over. What you see a distinct lack of are masses of undead troops.
Or we must be elsewhere.
I wonder where the hell they could possibly be. They were so interested in Port Hamar, and then they all fucked off.
It's
Well,
almost as if
you know
Gilbert
he's got an
told
army.
you.
You know where he's got an army with that ambassador, so you could scry on that.
Ah.
I mean, I literally told you guys where he was.
Somewhere in the jungle.
Nope,
Retrieving.
that was the ambassador.
That's the
Oh,
point.
well, I was totally knocked out. I don't think I got
Oh.
briefed on any of that.
Bafford. I said he was going on an expedition to Bafford. You know, the city where we collapsed the big building into a fucking hole.
We would never. I'm appalled at the insinuation.
Yeah, and so Major's kind of looking at your scrying device. So is Lord Commander Odwick.
Yeah, this is
And
a crystal ball, by the way.
yeah, they're looking at the crystal ball. Major turns to you, Basil. There seems to be a distinct lack of enemy forces there.
Well, yeah, that's because they're in the field.
I see. But this Pejima fella, he's here in Elcott?
That's where we believe him to be based. It's possible he could be in the field commanding his forces as
Too bad you can't get a fix on him personally.
Yeah, tracking Pejima himself is difficult and also risky.
Well, if his home base is undefended, there's still some value in traveling there and burning it to the ground.
Sounds like a plan to me. Oh, and I'll inform him of where we saw his emissary traveling in that jungle. Now that it.
Yeah, but it's just an ambassador. I mean, in the end, he's a messenger. He might have some interesting diplomatic intelligence on him, but quite frankly, nothing that we're really interested in.
Yeah, because he's interested in a dead lich.
You know, we're not looking to engage in espionage against Pejima. We're looking to kill Pejima.
Right.
Was that a tent-like structure still there under?
No. No, it looks like they've begun construction of an actual keep.
Ah.
But we don't see anybody
Tent where you
doing
met
the
him was
construction.
not from not from that altitude you don't. But then again, you wouldn't expect to be easily able to pick out individual people at an altitude to see the whole city.
Right.
But
So there's
if there are people, they're not massed up like you saw before, where they like you had platoons of troops marching around.
Well, we could try to find Pejima directly, but I'm kind of dreading what might happen if.
Yeah. Did we see any of his court members? Did he have a court?
Well, we couldn't pick out people, remember?
Something that might be useful is if we journey there anyways and scour the city, perhaps look into the ruins of the keep where he had built his tent. You know, the
Wait a minute.
catacombs.
Do we remember for what purpose he wanted that magic flaming sword?
He wants it. He wants it inside him.
Well,
So as I recall, he wants the mace simply as a haha fuck you, I beat you, I'm alive, you're not. And my understanding is that the big flaming sword and the bastion of the pyre hold like a. I believe it was a kind of Oh shit! What's the word? What's the word? Uh. Under its it's the ceremony that is performed on a ruler that like designates them as the person with the right to coronation.
Yeah.
Coronation.
Mhm.
I believe that was the purpose of it.
Was it
Kind
his?
of a
I mean, that's if you're talking about like where a king is installed and recognized under his divine right. That's what a typical coronation is. Yes.
yes. I believe that that's what the Bastion of the Pyre and the Sword were, if memory serves.
Right, but was that like his coronation? Does that sword belong to him?
It belongs to the Empire of Elcott.
I like
Huh.
the poetry of that. He gets installed with his he gets coronated with the sword. You know, like his reign ends with the sword too. It's great. I love it.
Hmm.
It's beautiful.
No, well, that's not going to work for what I wanted to use it for. I don't. Well, yeah, if they want to go to Elcott, I'm down for that.
Okay.
What are we doing? Everyone get quiet.
These guys want to launch an assault on Elcott.
That makes sense. Launch a naval assault. Scour the
Yep.
city. Check out the keep.
Okay. So, yeah, go ahead.
Before we do, Basil, scry on the teleportation circle outside of Elcott.
Oh, we already scried on Elcott.
No, the teleportation circle. It's located a day and a half away.
Oh, okay. We've been there.
You have.
Yes, it's scry on teleportation circle 246.141.
All right, I'm going to remember those numbers and yell.
Okay. You.
It's a large scale
scry on them.
teleportation circle.
I got something for that. Where did I stash that in my notes? Ah. All right, yeah, so you scry on it, and there is a tall green-stoned monolith standing above a 20-foot diameter stone circle situated on a cliff out overlooking a bay.
I noticed he didn't describe an army.
There is no one visible in sight when you scry on it.
All right.
My God, they're all invisible.
Gilbert, why am I doing this?
These are potentially strategic points that he might be sending troops through, that kind of thing.
Okay.
I'm suggesting we scry on these points to see if we can find, garrisons,
Hey, maybe
troops
scry on a point
marching
where there's
through.
maybe scry on a point that has the that you have actual information that there might be an army. Was that
Yeah.
ambassador traveling alone? Because these guys haven't even had any proof that there's any threat on the
How
whole
about
continent.
scrying on Bafford?
Where is that?
That's the city we went to on the side of the massive ravine, the one where we died.
Right. All right, I've got 2 more of these.
And dropped a mace into a hole, crushed it
Do
with all of
do
our
we
stuff.
want to try scrying on Pejma?
No. No.
Yeah. Did
Is it-
Pejma have any like bodyguards that we remember?
The only point of person we know of is what is it? The emissary.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you guys doing?
I guess I'm gonna scry on Bafford.
Okay, you scry on Bafford. So you get kind of like an overview of the city. You also see that it's on fire. And arrayed outside the city walls are massed numbers of what appear to be troops of some kind, laying siege to
Here
it.
we go.
Her.
What are they besieging the drow that are in there?
Nani?
Apparently.
Heh, fuck
Nah,
the
fuck
drow.
those guys.
You know, maybe we should like let Pedrimo do this thing for like maybe a month or two, just like we kind of let the demons run loose.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend, unless they're the drow.
Yeah. So actually, the major just turned to you, Basil, and he says, "Well, I don't know what that city is. I don't recognize it, but it looks like they're under siege from somebody."
Well, fortunately, that city was already not inhabited. However, there are drow that live in that large precipice you're seeing.
Well, it's got to be inhabited by something, or an army wouldn't bother sieging it. They would just walk in and burn it if that's their goal.
There were
Yeah.
harmful monsters there when we were there.
Right.
It's
well,
worth noting this. No, go on.
Oh, I was about to say that, well, if it's inhabited with monsters, then for whatever reason, this army is dealing with it.
The city also contained a artifact which we believe to have been valuable to him, though previously we had thought it destroyed.
Well, if you thought it destroyed, why do you think it's not destroyed now?
Well, the fact that they chose to come here is kind of piquing my suspicions that it might not be as destroyed as. And then I'll direct their attention to that big gaping hole that we made there. It was originally contained in a,
Allegedly.
yeah, it was allegedly contained in this building and then destroyed when we demolished.
No. It was contained in that building. We allegedly destroyed it.
Yeah.
Right, so he kind of looks at the map, he's like, and where is this city located?
I'll point to him on the big map that we're doing this.
Okay. That's a very interesting location. And do you think Pejima's with this army?
Well, there's no way of knowing for sure, but it's certainly possible.
I mean, there's a way of knowing for sure. It's just unlikely to work and likely to blow up in your face.
Yeah, there's a way of knowing for sure, but I'm very afraid of what may happen if we try.
Well, let's assume that. Let's think for a second. If this artifact is still there, and that the goal of this siege is to obtain this artifact, just what does this artifact do that he is willing to spend so much time and effort with getting?
Not to butt in or anything, but if you're asking for thinking, you're asking the wrong group. We don't exactly have the best track record when it comes to that.
Extra planar screaming.
Yeah, no, you've actually kind of missed a lot this session. This has been a plot heavy.
It figures. Last I remember, we were in, what was that place called? Talking to the guard.
Yeah, Sleuth.
Yeah, they're
Meaning
back
they
to
have
Port Hamler.
accidentally, intentionally a crusade.
Yeah.
Yes. A half-drunk, half-hungover Mina and Basil were sent to talk to the council, and they managed to get an entire
Mina drank her
division
way
of
to a
paladins.
crusade.
Yeah.
Yep. Then we sped them swiftly across the ocean in only 20 days, and now we're back at Port Hamor planning.
Well, given that we don't know, we'll hit Elcott first, burn it to the ground, and then march to see if we can't find Pejima if he wasn't in Elcott.
Right. To explain a little bit about the artifact, we originally believed it to be simply a mundane item of only symbolic value. However, his continued interest in it has led us to suspect otherwise.
I don't think. I mean, if it was his phylactery, he probably wouldn't have sent us to get it. And it's like probably would have been pretty wrecked in that whole So.
And you're sure he's a lich?
Yes, we are certain.
I'm
I've
about
met him.
Wait.
1.5% sure. He could be some other horrible thing, but I'm pretty sure he's a lich.
I saw him in person, and he looked an awful lot like a lich to me.
Yeah, he looked like a lich for sure. But looked like a lich and is a lich. Or, they're just like adjacent.
Turns out he's actually just an old dude who's been bullshitting us the entire time.
Doesn't matter, the army's real.
That's true.
And if we kill him and he comes back, we'll know for sure. Mostly.
Right. Well, you have anything else for me? He asked this to Basil.
No, I think that's it.
Good, then get a good night's rest. We're shipping out in the morning.
Yeah, I'll need it.
Hey, Under.
Mm-hmm.
I think Gilbert would like to off himself now.
Okay.
I have some dark powers to contact.
All right. You kill yourself.
Does Gilbert have to do some weird autoerotic asphyxiation? I can't say that word in order to get talk to his dude. I didn't even know that. That's some weird shit.
So you're doing this from inside the demiplane.
Yeah.
And you're not going to tell us in advance of doing it.
Don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
We were busy.
I mean, the demiplane has a limited period of time, so when it's not visiting hours, Gilbert's alone in there.
Don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
And then the dark powers were not interested. The end of Gilbert.
So when it's time to feed him, we just come in and he's dead on the floor.
Well, that's about what's going to happen, yes.
Nina still has one employer. That's fine.
Don't worry, it's the pretty one.
Okay, so you kill yourself.
Judging by the curse Gilbert's under, that's for damn sure. Fucking mark on him.
Which curse? I have several.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
All right, so you're basically dead at this point. And
Only basically dead. It sounds like you didn't do a very good job.
well,
What was the
but he's-
method?
But he's
What
only
method
basically
did he
dead.
use?
And there's a big difference between basically dead and fully.
well, yeah, because his soul hasn't quite left his body yet. He has died. Whatever method he used, I don't know. Gilbert, how did you kill yourself?
With
My
violence.
good old buddy, the Vorpal Sword, and a solid smite.
Okay, so you
Roll a fucking
basically
20.
I potentially slice my own head off and blow myself up.
Okay.
Oh, one of the
Who
two's
knows?
gonna happen.
Graphic.
Are we aware that his soul is still in his body?
Well, you're not aware of anything just yet. Like this just happened.
Alright.
You guys don't know he's done this thing.
Mina's still drinking.
Yes, we know. So yeah, so you're half expecting to wake up in hell, but you don't. You know, you kind of get this given your mental state when you died, you kind of get this feeling of something inquiring if you want to go back. If you want to fix things. It's an impression, not so much a verbalization. But I'm curious, Gilbert, as to how you respond.
Like, is there a context for wanting to fix things?
No. You get that mental impression of fixing things, question mark.
Turns out your first suit of armor just has a dent in the boot
Yes.
that it wants to fix.
Yes, Gilbert, I think, would like to fix things. There's a lot of things that need fixing.
Okay. And that's when you wake up, Gilbert, in your demi-plane. Sword next to you where you just had previously cut your own head off. And you have a feeling something is different. But you're not sure what.
Ominous.
Like you feel like yourself.
I'd like to fire up the light cantrip and take a bit of water and kind of like pour it on the ground so there's a nice layer of it for reflection.
Okay. So yeah, you pour it out, kind of look at it, and you see kind of like your face looking back at you, but your cheeks are a little sunken. You look almost like you're sick, though you feel fine. And also your eyes seem to be glowing.
Oh,
do you have
boy.
a picture? Do you have a picture?
No, I don't have a picture of Gilbert with his eyes glowing. I don't have a picture of Gilbert at all.
You had a picture of him being like a chain beard.
Just generic chain beard.
I found a generic picture of a chain beard.
I missed the generic picture of the chain beard.
Yeah, I didn't save it, so you'd have to end up going back through Discord history.
I'm sure I can find an equally generic version of another identical but slightly different chain beard.
Yeah, so Gilbert, you do notice that your armor is that around like your neck area is all red and like you bled a lot on it.
Mysteries will never be solved.
You wasted his one up.
Guys, I believe I found the image that that's being referred to here. It looks something like this.
There you go.
How apt.
Gilbert has become the Crusader eyes glowing meme.
Better watch what you say when you're in crusading distance.
Yep. All right.
Mm-hmm. So I will have to get back to you on the exact differences mechanically of what you know. But yeah, something seems to have happened with that.
Huzzah!
Very neat.
I'm gonna put my helmet on and I'm gonna just stand spookily in the center of the room, waiting for someone to open the door.
And thus, Gilbert turned into a boss fight.
And it's gonna walk in. Ah, Jesus, what now?
Dark Souls music plays.
Oh, that's right. It is a foggy door.
It just does the Gwyn music.
You also notice, Gilbert, when you turn to face where the door will be, there's a pool of your dried blood on the ground.
What is still there? Is there like a separate head on the?
No, there isn't.
Cooler if there was.
Is there a gap in the pool of blood that's vaguely shaped like where a head might have rested?
I mean, there
The
is
outline of
a
Gilbert's
space
face.
that is, like 6 inches in diameter where there's no blood. Yeah.
It's amusing. Analyze the blood spatter pattern.
Yep, by the looks of this, Gilbert cut his own head and smote himself.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, he got better.
Yeah, and you thought that guy looked like Lothric. You just cut your own head off.
All right.
So we come in to feed him, and we see him covered in his own, looking kind of different.
I mean, you see him, and there's his eyes are glowing through his helmet. He the upper portion of his breastplate and helm and his whole helmet are all coated in dried blood. There's a pool of his blood on the floor, or blood on the floor. Not, you don't necessarily know it's his. Yeah, and he's just standing there.
Menacingly.
What the hell happened to you? You get into a scuffle in here?
Something like that.
Why?
Who won? Did the air win? I think the air won. The air doesn't bleed.
Well, I'd get him a mop, but I don't think they're working.
Yeah, does anyone have prestidigitation? I'm a little soaked in my own blood.
Mina does, but she's not there. Definitely still drinking.
The look suits you. It's fine.
What's funny, Basil does not have prestidigitation.
I'll try to claim it. Yeah, druids don't have it. It's weird.
It's not a druid cantrip.
That is weird.
You get Druidcraft instead, which is stupid.
Yeah, that's why I didn't take it.
So I attempt to clean the blood.
Spoil sport.
With
Blood
prestidigitation?
spattered.
Yeah, sure.
All right, yeah. Blood cleans up. It's just blood.
Ah.
Doesn't explode or anything.
Damn.
I'm not overcome by some desire to kill the party.
No.
Not yet.
None that wasn't there before.
The party doesn't have to be crusaded on yet.
Nope, not yet. So, yeah, I spend the night in Port Hamor. In the morning, everyone loads back up onto the Wrathbringer.
Wrathbringer. That sounds fun. We're going to war, aren't we?
Yeah. Sounds like
Yep, the ship sets out and begins following the coastline south.
Do I have any expectation for how long this will take?
So you know that it would normally take, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It would take about a week normally.
Okay. Well, we're gonna make it take less than.
Okay, yeah, wind begins blowing correctly, storms stay, the skies stay clear. Only takes you 5 days.
Cool.
There's a bit of delay when you get to the area around around the southern coastline where you guys have to slow down anyway, just because it turns out there's a bunch of reefs there you have to be careful navigating through to avoid, wrecking the ship. Yeah, but you guys make good time. You kind of steer clear of the marshes to the west of Elcott and eventually kind of pull up into almost a lagoon-ish type area, but it eventually opens up and you see the silent city of Elcott before you. And the paladins kind of form up in their shiny plate mail. And about 100 yards from the docks, they get into longboats, the major directing you towards directing the party towards one as well. Longboats to take you to shore.
Cool.
So yeah, there's a splash. You guys are let down. There's a sailor from the ship who is actually manning the pair of oars on the long ship, and is aiming you guys towards the docks. You can see there's a small flotilla of about 6 longships. Yours is the only one that isn't full of paladins. Gilbert, you're with the party right now, right?
Yeah, at this point I would be leaving my demi-plane.
Okay.
Oh, look who came out of his coffin.
Yeah. The paladins kind of look at you a little askance, the glowing eyes and all that. But they figure that, you're with Basil and Mina and all that, so you're probably okay.
Yeah, forgive our friend here. He doesn't get out much. He just needs a shower. He'll clean right.
I'm guessing that they've divine sensed me just as I've divine sensed them.
I mean, they have evil gods in their council. It's not like they would be super opposed to you.
I mean, yeah, they're still gonna, especially the ones who follow, the better aligned gods.
Yeah, the ones that aren't evil are probably gonna still want to keep him.
You're kind of like
they're not gonna be like he's entirely trustworthy.
Exactly.
Whatever the hell you did to yourself is also like a special brand of fucked up, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
I think there's a few special
But
brands.
it's really interesting too. But
yeah, it's like the special kind of fucked up value pack.
But you fucked yourself up, so Mina's not gonna judge too hard. It's
Yeah, and the guys kind of hit the beach. The paladins kind of form up and begin marching into town.
I'll go ahead and turn on see invisibility for me and the robot.
Yep. And you immediately hear the cries of some of the undead that you are familiar with in the town before. And that is where we will leave it for tonight.
Cool.
Deus Vault.
Deus Vault.
Deus Vault, yes. That is the cry that the paladins give as they charge forward.
Excellent way to end our second straight session of no combat.
I would offer the combat drugs if any of the paladins would have been willing to
participate.
They would not have.
Alrighty. And that also extends to the party as well.
How much is that now?
That's going to be 19, I believe, unless we get like less than 100 experience or something.
Do I give you less than 100 experience?
Big.
I mean, we started a crusade.
Wait, we're getting experience? But we didn't.
I hope so.
Well, you advance the plot, so you get some experience for doing that, even if it's not combat.
I would say that Mina has never been an orator, and she
Huzzah.
definitely had some new experience.
Huzzah, indeed.
All right.
We are level 17 now.
What is our exact XP number? Because I have
Um,
not kept mine up.
25. No, 225k. And let's see, 306.
Okay.
Does that sound right, Gilbert?
Give me a sec. My PDF's being a dick.
225306.
You know,
All right, what-
interestingly enough, I opened up my wrong sheet.
225305.
This when this session started, I opened up an out-of-date sheet, and it didn't matter the entire session.
I mean, no real combat this time. You guys
Yeah.
were dealing more with political crap.
Honestly,